Chat gang. Alright, good evening. Welcome to episode 16 of RantCast. 16 of these already.
And the best one was number 3.
The best one was number 3 already. Look, I haven't even done the intros yet, and you're already throwing shade at your co-host here.
He needs all the help he can get. Come on now.
To be fair, mate, that was mostly towards my go.
No.
Alright, so you're just now joining RantCast. I'm joined by two of my absolute favorite community members, Brice and Tomb Dad, a.k.a. Tomb King Tristan, a.k.a. Stan with 2 hyphens.
Triple Stan, let's get it.
Yeah, Stan cubed. And we're going to be talking a little bit tonight about a couple different subjects. We're going to do some Havoc recap in there at some point, because both Brice and I did go to Havoc with, I think, different degrees of success on, like, sort of the agenda we both showed up for. Like, I had a goal of crushing Warhammer Week. No, I had a goal of breaking my my 3 and 2 ceiling, and I did that. And you won some hardware, didn't you, Brice?
I sure did.
You won no.
Yeah. Hobby hardware.
How did you win?
Hobby hardware, the most succulent of hardware.
Yeah.
That's okay in that field. That's wild. Especially for
I won,
those models. Wow.
Warlord of Havoc.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
it's a
That's okay.
conversion and story behind my general.
Yeah.
Nice.
So as I knew that Holy Havoc was like the narrative hobby event. I did not expect it to be that narrative and that hobby. Like, I just, so like, I mean, you go to, like, I went to Midwest Meltdown and they had a ton of hobby trophies.
Mm-hmm.
But it was
I heard
like,
good things.
Yeah, it was a great event, tons of hobby trophies and stuff like that. But this was like, so I was just kind of expecting like a Midwest Meltdown-y. No, like it went hard. It was, and I was out.
To be fair, on the internet, you're out of your league.
I was out of my league. I was
That's awesome.
borrowing models, like fucking painting shit in the hotel room the night before. Like, I looked at the standings and like the amount of points not had from like hobby and stuff were just like, ugh. Like, how many other people go undefeated and go 10th overall, and you're just like, like 10th out of 30 for. So it's just like I'm coming back with a hobby vengeance next year, and I'm like a fucking writer, and I didn't like do anything with the narrative in any way. I just like I let myself down. I didn't think I would walk away unbeaten and feel like I got beaten. It's just like it crazy. It's crazy. A great event. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little Holy Havoc, and then we're gonna we'll let Brice describe his Warlord of Havoc, and then we'll talk about something that I think is really bloomed, really blossomed. You two have really just crushed this International Escalation League. You're in the first month now. Got a Discord over 60 members.
He wants to talk.
It's insane.
No, go ahead and talk. No.
So, we haven't done shit. Like, we basically started a Discord and posted, "Hey, does anybody want to play too?" It's been amazing how many people have like stepped up and have done just jaw-dropping stuff. I've been blown away. Like, one person's already basically half painted a 1,000-point army. Like, not even. Like, maybe fully painted their friggin' trees. It's nuts.
Wow.
Oh, Bucket's my guy. What's up?
Hey, Bucket. Cheers, by the way. I also have an ice-cold beer here for you.
Well,
sharing with you.
Let's cheers.
Cheers.
Alcoholic.
So, yeah. Wisconsin. It's not quite alcoholism yet. They go to meetings.
Yeah, it's after 6 o'clock now. It's kind of frowned upon if you're not.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Packers games break the after 5 o'clock rule, so you can start day drinking for Packers, Brewers, and Bucks games. Weddings, obviously. If you had a hard day at work. If you just feel like it. There's a lot of criteria. It's really elaborate for when it's okay.
An omnibus.
Yeah.
It's an omnibus.
Yeah.
So, okay. Big news for our Australian listener, Anthony Margo. Mm-hmm. I found my Screaming Skull Bridge, so I don't have to come down to Australia and kick his ass. He told me today on the internet that he stole it, and I believed him. I was like, you prick.
Where did you find it?
So
it was hidden. So I was trucking it back and forth to work, like all the spells from what was the name of that thing again? Whenever this thing came in. Yeah, that one.
Feast of Bones.
No, not Feast of Bones. You
Feast
dweeb.
of
Why would I
Bones?
ever
It's the
buy
only
that?
time that can be mentioned.
The
today,
Feast of
by the way.
Bones.
Listen, stop talking.
Were we talking about the Feast of Bones? No. Okay.
No, in Forbidden Power, like I got that, and then I was just trucking back and forth from work with the spells because I'd like clean stuff during breaks and like stick stuff together. And then I realized, like, you know, whenever bridge became something I cared about, I didn't know where it was. I had every other thing plastered all over my desk. Like I have my
Scoot
TK'd up Scoot McToot Toot.
Yeah.
Boat
Scoot
guy there.
Yep.
Beep, beep. Hi friends.
Yeah, Mr.
Let's
Scoot
go for a
Scoot.
ride.
Or the Bringy Dingy. Whatever you're...
Bringy Dingy shouts to Vincent. But I found it, and it was buried deep inside of my recycling bags.
Oh wow.
Because we have a on my island we have a ban on plastic bags, so we have a ton of these reusable ones, and I had just been using one of those trucking back and forth, and I'd hung it up on a hook, and unbeknownst to me, my partner decided to be, you know, organized, and she put a whole bunch of these other reusable bags that we have, because as soon as you get rid of plastic bags, apparently you just keep buying reusable ones. It works. And so
they're made from the same. They're made by the same people who make the plastic bags to begin with, so they're like not.
And they
losing
take
out
more
any...
landfill space than the plastic bags do.
Right.
Yeah,
like...
but I have used them more, so shut up. I'm for this initiative. Get bent.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, maybe it's there, and then so I went by probably about 30 to 40 bags, and at the very bottom there was the little head on the top of the Screaming Skull Bridge going, "Save me, Daddy! Save me!"
That's fantastic.
So we're reunited. I don't have to fly down to Wumba Wumba land and beat up Anthony Margo.
Yeah, or like find one of those portals to the Upside Down, like in your living room. You know, one of the goopy portals from Stranger Things. I think that's just how you get there. By the way, like I guess that's how you. No one would want to fucking sit on an airplane for 16 full real hours to go to Australia.
I'm jealous. For me, it's 23.
Jesus Christ.
I live on an island.
Hey, Coach Soren, welcome. The Mad Lad Soren's up in chat too. Thanks again for all those gift subs last month during the marathon.
What a peach.
Yeah, we got all these sweet emotes here because of it.
I felt like I got shafted because I actually paid for mine. Like, this is bullshit.
I'm sorry, man. So I guess I'm gonna kind of let you guys drive this one. Do you want to start with the holy recap, or do you want to go straight into the International Escalation League?
I want to hear all about Holy because I'm obsessed with that event and Realms at War over in across the pond, and like those are my two top events that I really, really want to go to because I'm like definitely a narratively driven player, and for me that's like Mecca is getting to the tiny little
30-person
30-person event,
not even in Chicago, like fucking Podunk, Yorkville or whatever. I
don't even know where it is because I don't think it matters that much. Shout out to Illinois. And so for me that's something I've been super interested in, and I was pretty pissed off whenever I realized that you were going to be there, Mephisto. Like, I was like, this is horseshit. You didn't even mention this once during any cast? Like, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah.
You're going?
Yeah, I know. I'm like I've got connections, you know, and I'm just people I'm famous now. No, it was I had expectations for it, and my expectations were like high, okay? And then when you have high expectations and they're exceeded, it causes the actual like brain explosion GIF thing to happen. Like, it literally blew my mind. Literally.
So it's like the time that I went to Sappy Fest to go see Arcade Fire. It's this little music festival in this tiny little town in New Brunswick, and then we played pickup. It's like that.
Yeah, what's that?
Okay.
You just spoke full Canadian there, and I only know like South Canadian.
Okay, so we're gonna go full Canadian because I brought some Hawkins cheesies.
Yeah.
The #1 export of Canada. Maybe not monetarily, but by heart. and probably by sodium level, let's be honest.
Right.
Okay, so I got my Hawkins cheesies ready.
Okay.
Look,
Brice, do you want to start out with Havoc? Because you're a veteran of Havoc, aren't you?
I am.
You're a holy chosen, as it were.
Yeah, my fifth holy event. This one was. So I've been the 2 Havocs, 2 Holy Wars. This was my 5th.
Okay.
So my 3rd Havoc.
So you knew what to expect kind of going in. Like, whereas I had that moment of like, oh, like they're real serious about their narrative, not just like write something on a piece of paper and like, oh, this is, no, like you had expectations going in, and you kind of, was this the first year for, yes.
You thought that Holy Havoc you could just walk in with a piece of loose leaf?
No, I speak in hyperbole, Tristan. That's part of my humor.
He didn't even bring that. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I didn't even bring that. I didn't have a fucking plaque. I didn't have nothing.
Is that South Canadian? I'm not getting this.
Yeah. The
Chime in.
Was the Warlord new this year? Or is that a constant?
That's constant.
That's a constant.
That's like the pinnacle award of Holy Havoc. Is that so?
And people still didn't know how the War Scroll worked for it this year.
To be fair, it changes every year. Like,
fair enough.
Like the things that Steve allows, and it's kind of a running joke, the things that Steve forgets. So it was, it's tough, right? Because there's so many different things you have to consider, and traits and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and even how Games Workshop has written tomes lately has just, the landscape has changed within like their rules and how they write them and traits and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it being he handled it really well though. Like it was, I mean, just like because of the nature of the event, and Vince was talking about how hard the people trying to win play, and then you have this swirl of narrative and hobby going around. It is peak Mephisto. This is where people talk about like the sort of like they seem to think that like being great at hobby and loving the narrative and the fluff and wanting to win games is like they're all mutually exclusive. You're either a hobbyist or you're a competitor, and you certainly do kind of like season to taste what you're there for and how hard you go in any one of those. But like the competition's just as hard as anywhere else. If you want, you can play, like, you can end up playing 5 really tough games if you're headhunting the top tables, because you're doing this open challenge, sort of open grudges all weekend, and if you want to win, you got to go headhunting. So like it was really cool. Like I can't even, like, grudges had already won me over coming from a different competitive background, where I was I would think normally like grudges would like skew the competitive balance, and like the person who played Magic the Gathering and fighter games and shooters and stuff, if I got to pick my like a team to job to me first round, are you kidding me? Like I would totally game that system.
You would have picked me and Ty.
That's the thing is like that's the thing is like people kind of like were like actually grudging me in Halo, because like I have this thing where I just like playing against new armies. I like that the brains, the list science in my brain, where I just love seeing interactions on rules, and I like to play different armies, and so like I wasn't gonna like keep grudging people. But yeah, like so we ended up like just kind of like making these gentleman agreements. I imagine it to be like fencing or dueling, where you just like you throw the gauntlet down in front of somebody. It was really awesome. Like, again, it exceeded all my expectations. I hate to say it, Brendan, but my favorite event, period. So far that I've been to is Holy Havoc, but hands down. That's not a hot take. Like it, legit.
So you're telling me that one of the best events worldwide was one of the best events?
Yeah. I'm also telling you to make you jealous that I went to one of the best events in the world.
I'm mad.
So Brice, why don't you? I guess, did you go in with like an agenda? I mean, I saw you and Ty had this really awesome theme. did you know that like months in advance? Like this is what we're doing.
Kind of. So Ty had made that army last year for Holy Wars, and kind of helped him along the way, and kind of teaching him some new painting techniques and stuff like that. So he put a ton of time into that army. Like
yeah, he's
those
got
who have seen it. Yeah,
he's got some deep cast Eternals, so they're like sort of aquatic themed storm casts. For those of you who haven't seen, I'm sure he's got some pictures up on Twitter. You can go check him out at Fat Kid Sports. So he put a lot of work into that.
Shouts to my guy.
Yeah, great dude.
Yeah, so he put tons of work into that, and it's not an army that you just take to one event and put on the shelf. So I wanted to do, we kicked ideas around of different things we wanted to do, and it was originally going to be cities in that, but the cities I just couldn't get it going, so I went with the Deepkin, and that kind of made more sense in the long run anyway, since it's all Deepkin conversions in this army.
Is that fucking Jar Jar Binks? Yeah. So you were gonna do cities and you kind of pivoted to IDK. Now, from Midwest, was it Midwest Meltdown or NashCon? I didn't get the impression you liked your playing IDK too much.
Oh, I hated it. Which makes no sense why I played it again. But I think part of it too. So I think it's pretty clear that I'm big into the hobby aspect of things, and playing someone else's army for me, I think that took a big part of the experience away.
Yeah.
So at NashCon, I had played Isaiah's Deepkin, and not that they're poorly painted or anything like that, but it's just, your army means more to you when it's yours, and like you have reasons as to why this guy would fight this guy and stuff like that. So that was a big part of it.
So it's not that they're poorly painted, but they're poorly painted?
No, they're beautiful. But the biggest thing was like the army's one-dimensional, and it's pretty lame, and there's one really good thing in it, and all the rest is not very good.
Even though they have great sculpts, the other stuff is just like it's a shame it doesn't see the table.
I love the model range, but I just
got some right here.
Yeah,
they're gonna sit there.
Yeah, so I figured I have it, might as well paint it. I had this idea that I've had for a long time. This is what I wanted to do for Meltdown, was a mixed order army with statues that had been reanimated with the ever burning ember that my warlord found, and he could use that to bring the souls of fallen monsters into the statues that he would reanimate and have them fight for him.
So
yeah, that's dope.
Tristan, have you seen his army on Twitter?
Yes, but I would really like it if you would share screen to show everyone else.
Try to bring it up here. See if we can't get it. So he had this like absurd hobby idea, and he had
I'm just wondering when he's going to paint the rest of it.
Oh, because it looks great. Yeah, so he this is a great photo, but he had these.
If you go to the beginning of Havoc, the Friday, the full my army and Ty's army.
So just so it's out there, I followed on Twitter as much as humanly possible for the entirety of it. So
yeah,
so if it got posted, I probably saw it.
So he's got like here you can see one of his eels here, and what do we got some high elves riding? What riders did you go with?
Dark elves.
Dark elves. My bad. Don't at me, elf bros.
Yeah, don't. One warning. That's all you get.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
Yeah. So they're all the riders are either Drakespawn Knights or the why can't I think of the name? The Lord on Dragon, Dreadlord on Black Dragon. So I used all those kits and kit bashed a bunch of different stuff. There's some of the legs I had to use old metal models that could work, because there's in elves the mounted riders, they're pretty similar, so the legs kind of are interchangeable across whatever you want to do. So
that's pretty tight.
Yeah,
I do like that a lot.
Like the photos may not do him justice, but like he very meticulously sort of like had where like they broke and stuff, because these were like cracked statues on the bottom of the ocean floor that were being reanimated with their magic and stuff. How did you do that? Did you really just not paint the joints, or did you really just not glue the joints, or that's a hacksaw.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. So you can, not from this picture that you have up, but like you can, when you were looking at it, you could tell like the first 2, 3 I did, they're barely scratched and there's not a lot of damage to them. But then I was like, screw this, and I started just chopping stuff in half.
Just going hard.
Just breaking stuff and gluing pieces back on, and really just kind of pushed it as far as I could. So.
I think this is the Warlord of Havoc here, right? The two
yeah,
swords.
That's the Warlord, yeah.
On like the basilisk looking thing.
Yep.
The guy who's like roasting marshmallows?
Yeah.
Is that did you saw up an IDK boat for his base?
No, that's the Mareworm from Forge World. That's actually mounted like that.
Okay,
so,
cool.
But talk about a perfect fit, right?
Right.
Yeah, decent.
Yeah, it's that saw mark there. Yeah, so he won. It was a stunning army. And you walked away with the Warlord trophy for him. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
How was your weekend? How did it go? I didn't really get to. It was weird because like when you go to these events, like I have my like regular friends that I tend to gravitate and talk to at every one of these events, and like you and Ty are like in the rotation of like my regular friends I sit down and talk to. I didn't get to talk to you guys at all this weekend.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those weekends where like who you're playing is really kind of who you're hanging out with because of how things like line up, and then you finish a game, you want to get lunch, or you finish. All the games take so long too. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but like each game goes the limit. There's very few games, even in an army like ours, where ours was a very much turn 2 army, and if we didn't win turn 2, we lost, and even those games still took. We finished with like 15 minutes left in most games, so. But it was great. We went in hoping to go 0-5, and we ended up going 1-4, or 1-3-1. So that was good. That was,
you went in hoping to go
underachieved, I guess you'd say, by overachieving.
See, there's that.
Nice.
There's that Ty like self-deprecation. Like he thinks he'll go 0-5 every event.
No, with this being the 5th time I've attended, I know like you want to take units with a high model count, and you want to have a diverse army that can do. I've played on every table there. I know what it's all about, but my army wasn't tailored at all to do any of those things. And it truly was like, I know we say this all the time, like, oh, we're going to go 0-5, but we really went with 100% mentality of we have this cool story we're trying to tell, and we're just going to have a blast. And that's what we did.
So weekend of success. Did you have a blast?
Yeah, absolute blast.
Here's
amazing.
Those weekends where it's like really just needed it, and it fulfilled everything that it needed to be.
Yeah, I guess I had some expectations just off all the stories I heard. Hey, you got to go to Havoc, and you know all the friends I've made over these over a year now of tournament play. And like, okay, you got to go to Havoc, and I'm a really big fan of the doubles format. Yeah. I think it takes a lot of pressure off of the game for like people who want to like get into tournaments. And then I also think that like if you are like a gamer, you're gonna find like really cool cheeky combos between armies. Like I love the format. I think it's really interesting. But you got to go into it with like a sort of certainly like a lighter heart, you know, I think than 2K.
The tables, they says it all the time that the tables really play, but the tables really play.
Oh,
like, yeah. They're you can't expect normal stuff to happen, and I think if you went in with that mentality of like, oh, this is a competitive list, it's one like it's blah blah blah, it's gonna not do well.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get popped turn 1 by like the freaking Pillar of Doom table. Like it just 6 Holy Wounds. Holy Wounds are if you haven't seen Vince's episode recapping yet, or some of the other stuff out there, Holy Wounds are Mortalest wounds. There is no shrug in the verse that stops Holy Wounds from happening. There's nothing. You just take them, and there's always something on the table. Sometimes couple things that do Holy Wounds, and and they can swing the game real fast. We should have lost. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I played against Mike Westendorf, Sporadic Mike, and Jeff on double orcs. I played on the orc statue table, the spider table, and it's got basically like a Foot of Gork type ability where if you roll the 4 up, keep going. We lose that game if I don't chain that Foot of Gork 3 times and stop his Maw Crusher off. Like,
Oh, that's me.
like we lose that game, but his Maw Crusher just gets basically deleted by the table effect and me running hot with just dice because I have a skill and my skill is rolling dice really well when I choose to. But
never go to LVO. Never ever go to LVO.
Well, but Haywo actually like kind of came back. He scouted. He went to LVO last year, and he came back. And he's like, it's just another 40K tournament. You don't need to go to it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I'm always looking for that that something else. I make my competitive skew pretty obvious, I think, but like it's not all I care about. And you can go to here's a tournament pack, you go to it, and then it's just a competitive event. I'm looking for that personality from the TO. I'm looking for that personality from the region, the personality of like I'm looking for that extra personality in the tournament, I guess is what I'm saying. And because it's not, we constantly talk about the community of Age of Sigmar as one of the best parts about Age of Sigmar. You could just say that on the surface level and not mean it, but if you mean it, then I think you're looking for those community elements in your tournaments. And how does that happen? Well, with good packs and good TOs running events with their personality in it. And Steve Herner, every bit of his personality is all over that tournament, and he's one of the best guys in the game. So, yeah. So, do you want to do a round recap, Tristan? Would you like to hear him go deep dive on his round to round conquests?
I really, really want to hear him go deep. Very, very, very.
I even took notes for this, just for you.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, my body is ready. Okay, so point of order. I've never been to a tournament ever.
Okay.
Because if there's ever been one, I'm the one that's running it, and usually it's like, oh, we have an even amount of players. Guess I'll just hang out and drink chips or something. And
drink chips.
Shut your mouth.
Hey, real quick, can you talk about what Smarties are in Canada?
Yeah, they're candy, chocolate, covered in sugar. It's great.
That's the opposite of
America.
That's the opposite.
They're candies, sugar. There's no chocolate.
Yeah,
I love it because I work in
What?
Winnipeg a lot, so I'm native to your land. Not native, but I've been there many times.
I love Winnipeg.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, go to Sergeant Sunday. Great Sunday joint.
Okay.
Right by Cinnabon Park.
I went to Bronuts. That place was really good. You ever been to Bronuts?
I've never been to Bronuts. Last time I was in Winnipeg, it was 2010.
Oh, all right.
I lived
Anyway,
there. Great place.
Smarties. I get it every time. It just blows my mind.
What
are
are
you
they
looking
in
up
America?
Canadian Smarties right now, Andrew?
No, I'm trying to catch up. Stay on top of chat here.
Like
But
what?
yeah, they're
Okay.
just they're literally just like little circles of sugar.
That's
They
what-
come in a tube.
That's America.
it's a circle. It's like a tardy chalk sugar pellet pill. Like
That sucks.
they wonder
They're
why.
way
Like
better in Canada. It's just
Well, you guys have Reese's Pieces, right? Like
Yeah.
peanut butter inside of the shell.
no, that's not
exactly-
peanut butter in there. That's not peanut butter in there.
Okay, shut your mouth. Again,
I hate Reese's Pieces.
bad.
Fucking hate
What?
them. Yeah,
You're
fucking hate them. They're the worst.
Garbage.
Worst candy. Worst candy NA. It has the audacity to attach the name of the best candy to it, which is Reese's peanut butter cups, best candy. And then they put the name, and then I get my hopes up, and they're little morsels of disappointment every time. I'm like, oh, Reese's, it's gonna be like a Reese's peanut butter cup that's like the size of my fingernail, and I'm gonna eat it. I'm just gonna be happy. No, disappointment every time.
People have also said that you're a little morsel of disappointment, so I wouldn't go too far there, my man. But Brice,
It's true.
tell me more.
It's true.
yes. So I'd like to just real quick preface this whole conversation by saying, 3 years ago at Walpaca, which is probably up there in the top 5 events in the world.
So that's my mecca right now because I missed out. When I finally was getting into the tournaments, I'm like, I want to go to PACA because it just sounds like my tournament. They do beer hoistings and stuff. I'm like, this is my tournament, And I didn't go, and so so now my expectations are building. Continue with your story and so that I can be crushed.
Yeah, no. So it was the first PACA I had been to, and I just lost my friend the 2 weeks before, and I was going through a bunch of stuff, and I met Steve, and it was a PACA then. That first year that I was there, it was a 2K on Friday, and then a random team partner event on Saturday. So each game you had a different partner, and you played against 2 different people that had different partners each game. But anyway,
That's insane.
yeah, it was wild. First
I love
game,
it.
I'm partnered with Steve, a guy I've never met, never talked to, didn't know at all, and we just like became best friends in our game. And he was talking shit about my green painted high elves because they should have been wood elves, and just like joking around and having a blast. And he invited me to come to Holy Wars, which I'd heard about but never been to, and I didn't really understand what it was when he was talking about it. And so I signed up, got waitlisted, and ended up getting in, and just had the absolute best time. And have Steve now is a great friend of mine, and we talk a lot about the hobby and just like life in general. So, Steve, if you're ever listening, you're the man. And if you go to Holy Wars or Holy Havoc, it's worth it alone just to meet Steve. So, feel like I got to do that justice. Anyway, games. First game we grudged Alex and John, Alex Gonzalez and John Wade.
The Alex G, and every time I say it, he says "fuck you, Andrew." fuck you, Mephisto. We've got a rapport. It's great.
Is this the guy that's on that show I don't like?
What?
Do you not like Grouchhammer?
Yeah, that's the one. It's that guy?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, he runs Adepticon, so...
He does that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that also is up there for a sick-ass thing I want to go check out.
Yeah,
Continue.
yeah.
Just want to get my opinions known.
Okay, all right. Shots fired at the Alex G. Like, you can at Tomb King Tristan, at Tristan Gray on Twitter.
Shots fired at Garage Hammer. Alex G seems fine. Curmudgeonly, but fine.
As a fellow curmudgeon, I can respect that. All right.
Love it.
Surprisingly hard word to spell.
You see, I can spell it because I played Vampire the Masquerade, and curmudgeons are of course I did. I play Undead. This doesn't make sense at all. And so curmudgeons are like a cast of a cast of vampire, and so I just like always remember how to spell it because of that. And then like above them is your antediluvians. Anyway. Brice, how's it going? Your tournament?
Yes. Got grudged by the Alex G and John Wagner, and they were playing Daughters in Deepkin, and we sat down at the table, and I had played Alex and John twice last year at Holy Havoc. Steve used to do this like little secret mission game after game 3, where you'd each play 500 points, and so I played them twice, and they played the same shit last year. And Alex is like, their theme was Team Danger Noodles and Company.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, they like make a menu of their lists, and then you can pick the like entrees you want to play against.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so he's like talking to John about, oh, how do we want to do it? Spicy or extra spicy or no spice? And I was like, give me that fucking extra spice, man. And then he's like looking at me like knowing what we're playing, and he's like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah, it's extra spice. Thinking, oh, he's just gonna have 9 eels, not a big deal. No, he had 15 eels.
I love
15 eels at 1,000 points.
I like that it's like actual like Noodles and Company when you go in and you like order the pad thai or whatever, and you can actually like up your spice level.
Yeah, and so they give little bowls, like they had Noodles and Company bowls, and they filled them with gummy worms and shit. So they had noodles in their bowl for you too. So that was great.
Oh, so
that's
awesome.
amazing.
What table? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm talking over you guys. I'm just gonna continue doing it because why not? Cheers. I just went this week to my buddy's curry joint. He's from Trinidad and he's about 5'6" and he looks like Thor. And he was like, "So, how spicy do you want your curry?" And I was like, "I want the spice." And he looked at me and went, "You don't want the spice."
I'm gonna make that a meme now. So yeah. What table were you on, Brice?
The Oak of Ages, which is the big oak tree.
Okay.
That you have to roll every turn, and on a 4-up, it pulses mortal wounds. So
you mean holy wounds?
Yeah, holy wounds. So everyone within 18 inches of the tree, which is pretty much the whole table, takes D3 plus 1 holy wounds, and then they get to reroll something. I don't know. I never got it. My units were all dead before I even learned what the tree did. So yeah, we got slaughtered. As you can imagine, our unit of 6 eels compared to their 2 units that added up to 15 didn't go very well. And then John had like 40 snakes or something, so no big deal. Yeah,
I just like
the
that
spice must flow.
I like that the spice must flow. That's right, nice Dune reference. I like that they managed to get the I respect how much the level of eel at a like 1K and 1K list event.
Yeah, he literally had no heroes because his warlord counts as a king. So he had 1 unit of thralls. So he had 15 eels, 10 thralls, and his warlord, and that was his army.
It's a sick army.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And Ty was on Stormcast, right? Like
Ty
okay.
playing Stormcast. His sharks there that you see, those were evocators on Dracolines.
Sweet.
The shark in the front is the evocator hero on Dracoline.
I'm for it. For it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I'm throwing dubs for Resorian.
So you started out great. You
massive 0 points. So if we're keeping score, I'd follow along with the scoreboard here because it's going to be really good at the end.
So you got 0 points.
0 points.
So then round 2. Did you grudge? Did you get grudged? How'd that go down?
We got grudged by Greg and Marv. Nice. Two of my favorite people in the world. Okay. Greg's from Lacrosse and Marv is from the cities, part of that crew. Okay. They were the ones in the bathroom. Lacrosse is a place, yeah.
Oh, they were the ones dressed up like the dude. Yeah, yes. Lacrosse is western Wisconsin. I used to live there.
It's near the cities.
Okay.
It's like
wait, what's the
45 minutes from the Twin Cities.
The Twin Cities. The Twin Cities. Minneapolis and St. Paul.
God, Minnesota. You and your Midwest colloquialisms, my goodness.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we played them. Greg and I played at Holy Wars last year, and there became this long-running joke. He kept taking my beer and then not having a bottle opener to open it. So then I would open my beer for him. So now every time he sees me, I have to open his beer for him.
That's amazing.
That's the one. That's the one black eye on Holy Havoc was the BYOB thing. And
How is that a bad thing?
I gotta bring it up because I gotta bring up how Steve handled it. That I barely remembered it as a black eye on the event is a testament to how much of a fucking pro he was. Basically, and you can attest to this because you're basically a legacy of the holy events. They've been at that particular venue 5 years. This is 6 years,
6 or 7.
A long time. And it's always been a sort of a BYOB event because they don't have like a bar per se. And so you bring your coolers in. The coolers are what hold up your fucking display board. That was awesome, first of all. But that only lasted about halfway through round 1 because the hotel fell under new management. And out of nowhere, they decided they had a problem with open intoxicants in the room. And so you had 60 people all in a room currently drinking beer, being told they had to
9 a.m.
Yeah, right, because it's hashtag Warhammer things. And suddenly we had to pause our round 1 and drag our coolers all back up to our hotel rooms and stuff. And it was like, you've already gotten an idea for the flavor of how this event is, and you're just like, and like now there's no beer, and it was like, I mean, this is like the ultimate beer and pretzels event, I think. Well,
yeah,
beer and pretzels has a little bit of a negative connotation, but like the spirit of beer and pretzels with hard-nosed competition if you're looking for it, and some of the best hobby you're gonna see.
Yeah, and they used to. I mean, the first year I went, I remember the girl at the desk was like, "Oh, we love having you guys here so much. You get a little rowdy, but you're so much fun." And then, like, so the flip that happened was crazy. They wouldn't even let us drink the coffee at the hotel. All of us who paid $250 or whatever it was to stay there couldn't have the free complimentary coffee that comes with your room.
What?
Or the water.
What?
Yeah. We couldn't be in the lobby. We couldn't have the coffee. We couldn't drink the water. We couldn't have our own beer.
I don't get it.
Yeah, so thankfully, Steve skipped way ahead. All this shit happened. Steve's handling it like a pro. Everyone really. I mean, you know how people there like to drink, and people in the Midwest like to drink. We all feel like were very respectful, and sure, people put it in their water bottles or whatever, but no one was just an asshole about it. No one yelled about it.
No.
Everyone just listened and did it.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, he got in there and he was like, he was on our side, you know, like the instant, like that sort of empathy, sympathy, like he's like, okay, guys, and he the way he handled it. And gave the speech. He's like, finish your beers, you know, finish them, like what you got, type thing, and then like we'll give you more time in the round. You know, we'll pause the clock now. Take your coolers up to the thing, and then like to compensate, he sort of moved the paint judging toward the end. So like again, just a pro taking a pretty big like blow from like outside factors and just rolling forward and crushing it. It was like, I don't like that's something where like there was a worst case scenario from that, you know?
Oh yeah.
And that's not what happened.
100%.
So it was really cool, and like I only now barely remember like, oh shit, I wasn't allowed to drink my beer, and like I just now remembered that as like a Anyway, so so round 2 we no longer have beer.
That's I knew something had happened online, but since he was so classy about it that I didn't know that's
the thing.
Exactly
like,
what happened.
He didn't shit talk the venue. He didn't do anything. I mean, you saw sporadic Mike's like, oh, here we go thing with the survey, and I'm just like, do it, being sent like Palpatine there. Because it was bad form on the hotel. It was bad form. Sure. Like 5, 6, 7 years of them running it this way, you could have given them a heads up. Hey, this year we're not going to let it fly. You're bringing in 60
and 30 paying guests. Like,
30 paying guests, $200 a pop.
Probably like, more. I mean, I don't know that everyone shared a room, so at least 30, probably more than 30.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Regardless, he found a new venue.
Couldn't have the coffee.
Couldn't even have the coffee. We had to Steve bought us all Dunkin' Donuts coffee because we couldn't have the hotel coffee. So props to Steve once again, but like I've never heard of anything like that in my life.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So, but anyway, like again, I barely remembered it until you were talking about your beer story, and then like and then like Vietnam flashbacks. A Midwesterner wasn't allowed to drink. I'm just like, no. But I mean that's and this is a little sidebar I want to say to everybody who plays tournaments. Drinking in Warhammer are pretty fun. Don't be a problem. Like, if you can't handle your liquor, please don't drink and play Warhammer with me. You're knocking over my shit and breaking stuff. Bad form. But this public service announcement over. Steve handled it really well. And now we're in round 2. You're playing the urban Lebowski's Urban Achievers. They're in bathrobes and wigs to look like the dude from The Big Lebowski. It was great.
Yeah, and that game we played on the Keltnar table, which is the Daughters of Cain temple, and it's super cool because there's a shrine in the middle of the table, and if a hero's within 6 inches of that shrine, they can make a blood sacrifice where they do D3+1 holy wounds to a friendly unit, and then everything within 18 gets +1 attack until the next combat phase. So it's super cool, and
this is the Cain table?
The Cain table, yeah.
Yeah, this was my second favorite table of the weekend.
Yeah, so it was... they had a lot of guns. I forget really what happened. There's one highlight that's super important. So we're getting just our butts kicked. But the table objective is to hold the middle. And we had held the middle... Or no, the big warp stone was in the middle on this one. So we had held that for 2 turns. And they had to come and take it from us for the next 3 turns to win the game. So we had like nothing left. I had my Warlord, and Ty had, I think, 2 units maybe, and they were both almost dead. And we had done a pretty good amount of damage to their army. And Marv charges me with he shoots me up with his handgunners, and I have 1 wound left on my Warlord. And then he charges me. And he's like, "Oh, I got you. I'm gonna finish this." And then I told him in the beginning of the game, but he didn't know what it was. I had to click a midnight, or the Shroud of Midnight. So I used that, and I can't be targeted. And he was so pissed, just screaming at me, and that's all he talked about the rest of the weekend. Every time he saw me, he's like, "Oh, you got a cloak to use?"
Oh man. Oh man, see that's great. I feel like it's the type of tournament that just bonds are like strengthened or formed. It's so great. So how'd you finish? Did you actually walk away with 2 points?
2 points.
So yeah, go on.
Tied it 2-2 draw.
Oh, so you didn't get either of the warlord or other objective? Yeah, okay.
No, tied it.
Yeah, so it's
Draw's
interesting.
a draw though.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
When you're going for 0-5, the draw's kind of a disappointment though. So you got to keep that in mind.
Oh man. So you were going for that wooden spoon and you just botched it right there.
Yeah, we ruined it there. I should have just not used the shroud and just let it die. But you know, Ty wanted a W. You could see it in his eyes. So.
The fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So round 3. This will end day 1, and then I'll do my day 1.
Yeah. So round 3. Probably one of my top 5 favorite humans in the world, Patrick. And Walter is who we played.
See,
so
I haven't gotten to play.
Great.
I haven't gotten to play Patrick yet. But I've heard the legend of Patrick, so I might have to grudge him.
Do everything you can to play him because he's just a wonderful human.
One of my top favorite people is also named Patrick, so I feel like it just holds up.
It's like you were there with me.
There you go. There you go.
So this game we played on Steve's new table, which was the temple table.
That's the cool water table, right?
Yeah, the absolutely fucking insane water table.
Here we go.
So there, a rule that has since been
There's
changed.
actually Patrick in the shot right here.
Oh, okay, perfect. Oh yeah, there he is. So yeah, if you look at that picture, you see all those little grates. There's about 6 of them.
Yeah,
no, there's more because there's one in each of the corners, so each of the corner tiles, and then there's 4 in the middle in the corners.
Oh my god,
those are pretty relevant because you at this point in time could teleport through those grates with any model, any unit, and teleport anywhere within, not wholly within, 6 inches of another one.
Oh no, not wholly within. That means you can okay.
So you can teleport anywhere on the table. In case that's not clear by where I said the grates are, you just have to have one model within 6 inches of the grate, and then you can teleport into combat. You can teleport 3 inches away. You can do literally anything. So they, of course, outdrop us, and we're like, well, I've never lost a turn or a game on turn 1 before, but at least we're gonna know how that feels. So they literally,
blood on the streets.
If you go to the next picture, I think I have it as the next picture here.
Oh god.
You'll see their entire army has now been moved to our deployment zone. Oh, look at that!
So this is so. Can you be in the water down here and stuff too on this table?
Yeah, you sure can. You sure can.
Okay.
So the it's cool now. When it's fixed, it's even cooler. But at this point, the water at the end of the turn does D3+1 holy wounds because there's like Kraken coming up and like pulling you back down. So it's super cool. Just a little bit of modification, which has again been made, but at this time it had not.
So you know, go on. Finish
no,
your
go
point
ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the one thing I love about like Steve's rules and stuff like that is I see a lot of my like when I GM and DM tabletop RPGs, I do a lot of homebrew rules. But I tell every player when you're playing with my homebrew rule, you're always in beta test mode and I can change it at any time. Because I will go hard for the fun thing, and then if it's too crazy, I tone it down.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a little bit of that happened, and sometimes some oversights, but man. So this is where like things are dematerializing into like smoke, and then like coming up the vents like a goddamn vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I took notes, and I know you can't see this, but I tried to write down like what happened. And most of my notes are like, oh, we got top of 1, then we bombed some Stormcast and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. In this one, I wrote, maybe we'll get bottom of 1, and that's all my notes.
So did you...
We did get to play, believe it or not. We got to go to our turn. We ended up making it to turn 3, and we have 4 models left on the table, like total. So Patrick's orcs are a lot scarier than they look a lot scarier than they actually are.
Mm-hmm.
And I was obviously playing Deepkin, so I had turn 1 cover. So everything for me was okay. Ty had like nothing left at the end of turn 1.
So he's got it looks like a pretty decent conversion on his Maw Crusher here. That's not the standard.
Yeah, he had like a huge dragon head on it.
Yeah,
it
like
was really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so that game ended really. It didn't end as quickly as we had thought, but it still ended quickly, and we scored.
I like your boat placement here, like it was gonna matter.
Yeah. Because really, on that table, there's nowhere I can put my boat. Like, there's literally not a space that's outside of 3 inches of another terrain piece.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if I just do this and make it look like some idiot tried to drive the boat under the bridge, and that's why it's stuck here.
Love it.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this on Spotify or anywhere your favorite podcasts are listened to, iTunes, etc., there are a lot of photos up on Brice's Twitter. That's moosegeek_ from the event. You can check those out. These tables are great.
Is underscore spelt out, or is it a underscore?
The symbol for an underscore.
Okay, to get low line.
Although I'm gonna make a parody account now, that is just Moosegeek underscore spelled out. Please don't do that. We'll report you.
Daily Moosegeek. Moosegeek.
Yeah, your daily Moosegeek, your daily Brice. Yeah. So you're on 2 points for the day.
2, yeah.
2 points for the day, but you've played 3.
2 of a possible what? How many could you get? 4? No,
I
6.
think it was 6 per game because you had 2 points and then 2
2
1
of 18.
Points. Nice. So I wasn't sure I had no idea what the scoring was going to look like coming into this either. So I played for the win, but the win really didn't matter quite as much as the points.
Had you looked at the pack at all? Had you seen?
I
that there was 3 objectives and stuff.
I don't look at packs before the event.
Yeah, I didn't know, because it's pretty iconic to look at what the tables do and stuff like that. I don't know.
The thing is the tables weren't in the pack though. The tables you had to go and then read the card.
Yeah, but I had shared in the past he would at the end he'd give it to everyone. So he'd if you want to play these tables at home, here's what it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I joke, I meme that I never read the packs, but I do, and the thing is,
every time you competitive guys that say, "Oh yeah, I don't read the pack."
No, well,
it's so when you lose, you're like, "Oh, I didn't read the pack. Who cares?"
No, it's the equivalent of in Magic the Gathering when you walk up to a table and you go, "Oh, are you new to tournaments?" They'll go, "Yeah, I just borrowed this deck from my friend." They're lying every time.
Maybe.
So there's a joke there. No, I just joke about not reading the pack, but I read this one. It still didn't all compute until I was at the event, though, if that makes sense. Because I have that sort of kinesthetic personality where I need to do and I need to to figure it out.
And this is one where you can't, even if you read the pack, it's not like you know what's gonna happen. You can't comprehend what some of the tables if you played on the worm table at all, you can't expect that turn 5 to be what it is. So
yeah,
reading the pack here doesn't make a lot of difference. But real quick, while you do your recap, I'm going to feed my beautiful dog who was on stream earlier. Cool. And then I will be right back.
My dog won't stop crying because he can hear my voice, and he is too big to come down the stairs with me.
How big is your dog?
How tall are you?
6'2".
He's about 2 inches shorter than you.
You have a fucking Great Dane or what?
Not got a greyhound, but he's tall.
Oh, fair enough.
So if he stands up, on his hind legs, he's about even with me, eyes wise, and he's taller than my partner.
Nice.
Fun. Yeah, cool.
Lazy bastard.
Yeah. So Holy Havoc. We got Grudge. I played with Haywo.
The good, great Joe.
Yeah, Joe Haywo. You know him perhaps as Haywo Twitch or for his really really funny memes on YouTube.
Great memes. Great memes.
Some of the dankest memes around. So I played with Haywo. He brought Beastclaw Raiders because of course he did, and he did get to play the Maw Tribe's book.
Of course he did.
But But there was a stipulation in the Holy Havoc pack that he couldn't bring more than 2 monsters. And so his list he had intended to bring was just 3 models. Unfortunately, he was forced to bring 6 models. Well, 7 because of the Warlord.
The man getting him down.
Yeah, I know. He was really upset that he had to play with 4 Mournfang. It was the worst. So he was.
Why
he was
did
really...
he play Yetis?
I don't know why he didn't play Yetis. He just brought the huge...
Horse feathers.
I think he wanted to. I think he wanted to test out Mournfang to see if they got any better. I think really is what it was. Is just science. So this is also another thing, and this will come into play when I talk about round 3. Havoc's a great event for doing some list science. Like if you have like some theory craft on your list, and you're like, I wonder if this combo works. It's actually a really good format for doing that.
Well, that's cool.
So he was
Why
on his.
that?
Well, I mean, because the way you are like sort of grudging and head hunting. You're only on 1,000 points, so you're not overcommitting to the whole combo or the whole army. And then you've got like a buddy to help you out. Plus, you get into just a plethora of bizarre situations that really stretch out and let you see that the combo you're going for in from different angles. Which is really the most important thing about like list science is like, okay, I know this looks good on paper, but until I get it out in the wild, I don't know how really good it is. And maybe it has an Achilles heel you haven't thought of yet. But then you get exposed to a bunch of different situations. You come to find all that stuff.
Okay, love it.
Yeah. So he did get to play with Maw Tribes. I have to apologize because I picked up a lot of his negativity when he first read Maw Tribes. And like I let that like resonate with me and stuff like that, so I got down on the book initially, but like the book's good. It's a good book. Yeah,
fucking right.
It's so good.
BCR.
I'm so happy with how good that book is.
Yeah,
it's a delicious meatball.
Yeah, BCR maybe got the short end of the stick in the book, but like if you're an Ogre Kingdom player, you're super happy about this. And like there's a couple of really strong builds. Stonehorn got better. Though. Like, at the end of the day, Stonehorn got better, and so you should just be happy, I think. Because
I don't know how BCR took a hit if every model in the army can now have an artifact.
Well, Mournfang didn't get good at all, is like the main thing. And I don't know. You'll watch Haywo's content for why he's upset at it. I'm not the expert. Like, I defer to the wisdom of, like, people I think are experts on it. No, I think it's a good book. I think it's a pub stomper of an army in general, where it's going to be Thunder Tusks all over again at your LGS. Just people mad at ogres. And I have one thing to say to them: if you're mad at ogres, just get good. They're not doing anything flashy. They're just marching their meat slabs forward and fighting you like a man. Which is exactly how the ogre player wants to play. So don't play their game. Like, come at them sideways, chaff them up. Play the table, like, etc., etc., etc. There's your
learn how to play Warhammer.
I didn't want to say get good, but get good.
You said that immediately, you turkey.
I know. So yeah.
Actually, here's a great idea.
Yeah.
Check out the Honest Wargamer, and check out their workbook, because that will totally help you kick ass
good.
whenever it comes to pub stomping armies.
Yeah. Stick with an army for a year. There's a lot of ways to get good at the game of Age of Sigmar. Listen to RantCast.
I just like that workbook because it kind of lays out what you should think about before you go play a game.
Right.
And so you can do like a lot of that mental prep with it, and I think that'd be something that would really be helpful for people who are going to tournaments like Holy.
Yeah. So and then I was on Beasts of Chaos, and so I actually have like just a fatty pile of Beasts of Chaos over here. I've got a bunch primed and still sitting in my basement, and I have closing in on 3,000 points of Beast of Chaos. I borrowed 800 points from Brendan because I did not get my stuff finished on time at all. And this was like the great pox of the weekend for me because I have a great idea for my army. I've got a narrative story and everything like that. How they worship.
Yeah, and I like the narrative.
How they
I'm
worship.
Very upset with
how they worship a fucking volcano and like threw people into volcanoes for power, and then the Necroquake happened. So they like harvested the heart of the volcano, and that's their herdstone. So they carry around their herdstone with them, which is the heart of this volcano. And to keep the fires going, they have to constantly be throwing bodies on it and sacrificing and murdering people. And it's because there's a daemon prince, like, in the heart of the volcano imprisoned there that they don't know about. And they're on this, like, quest, essentially, for the one of the shaman in the tribes saw this upside-down volcano. Nagash's Black Pyramid. And so they're on this quest to find this Black Pyramid that they think is just a fucking volcano and will give them their answers. So they have this, like, whole narrative. When they murder people, they smear the ashes on their face and chest, so, like, they have, like, ashen skin and black and, like, sooty fur. And, yeah, didn't get it finished.
You friggin' nerd.
100% my fault. Instead of painting... Unbelievable. Thank you so much for the follow there. 100% my fault. Instead of doing this, I ran a marathon. And, and then
I didn't know you were running. What type of shoes you got?
Yeah, see a streaming marathon.
You wearing those Hokas?
No, sock knees though. I run my running.
See, I've never been able to say that word right. Those Hoka things are weird though. Have you seen those?
No, are those the weird toe ones?
No, man. Those are Vibrants. The Hokas look like you're running on top of like a very fluffy croissant.
This is now we're getting outside of the realm of anything I have an opinion on. Which is weird for me because I'm a man of many opinions and I want you to hear them.
I don't think I believe that.
Yeah. Okay. No. So yeah, I didn't get to bring my Beast of Chaos. So I borrowed Brendan's. I did get to run Grashrack from the Beastgrave. Dude is legit.
Yeah.
He is great. Of course, I didn't get his retinue painted in time, so I did not have his free 5 extra bodies, which would have mattered every single game. So yeah, anyway, so whatever, didn't get my stuff painted. I went to the vault. Brendan opened the vaults graciously for me, and I borrowed some points. But I knew I wanted to play Beasts of Chaos with Joe's Beast Claw Raiders because we're going to be Team Beast Chaos Raiders, and we were. So I didn't take a fray. I thought at 1,000 points, the fray eating my artifact was way too much of a compromise at 1,000 points. It was a mistake all weekend long. I should have been all herd the entire time. So lesson learned. All my experimentation came on all herd. All herd was great. All herd in all my test games and LGS games and playing against Joe and stuff. All herd's just been the way to go. I missed it all weekend long. I took the Knowing Eye instead, which is a command point on a 4-up every turn. And it was nice to have 2 extra command points a game, but I fucking never spent them on anything other than running 6. And I'm like, every time I looked down and I saw I have like 4 command points on turn 3, I'm like, that could be extra summoning. I was like so mad the whole weekend. So we go in, round 1, we actually played against Effin Christian Ware. Or Christian Effin Ware. And
yeah.
His buddy Ricky from I guess he grew up with him in Australia. Ricky now resides in England or something. And he came over, hasn't played Age of Sigmar in a while, or hasn't played Warhammer in a while, has never played Age of Sigmar. Christian grudged us because he knew Joe and I would give them a good game and be reasonable with people who haven't, a person who hasn't played before. So they were on double Seraphon, and we were on the Cain, the Blood Sacrifice Cain table round 1, which was my second favorite table of the weekend. Long story short, he charged Ripper Dactyls, didn't quite get in, and blew up a bunch of Ungors. Got countercharged by Bestigors that were right there. He just needed to roll like anything other than a 4 to charge or whatever, and he would have got my Bestigors turn 1 and blew them off the table. Instead, my Bestigors got to swing back right in range of the right in range of the Cain Shrine. So they had an extra attack base, making them 3 attack space, and they just like murdered all the Ripper Dactyls. So just he took bad beats there. Joe drove monster trucks around, smashing into like Seraphon crap, and we went back and forth on the table objective because it turns out there's just a ton of Seraphon bodies, and then he was going to do the classic Seraphon play, which is at end of the game, flood the other end of the table with all of his bodies. Except I held on to all my summoning points, and I flooded the end of his table with all my shitty ass Ungors.
Hey.
And then Joe just turned his one model around, and with a single Stonehorn, he killed, I think it was the Engine of the Gods, and 30 skinks. And so we win that one. I think we got like 3 or 4 points there. We probably missed one of the points. And then we go into 2. In round 2, we played Paradox, which is the cleverly named team of 2 doctors, Dr. Alex Mylonis, who will be on the show later, and my friend Dr. Nick True.
Doctor jokes are friggin' terrible.
So good. They were on Zeech and Nurgle. Pretty straightforward. I fought a slap fight with Nurgle while Joe drove monster trucks around the table. We end up winning that game because monster trucks are OP. In the game of Age of Sigmar, it turns out.
Nerf Gravedigger.
And then round 3, the one I've been bragging about all weekend. We played against Vince and Tom of Warhammer Weekly. Actually grudged us for round 3.
What's that?
Yeah,
Can you show your Twitter name really quick?
Oh, my Twitter name? Yeah, so if you want to and talk about how sweet I am, you can at me at Mr_Meth. Mr. in quotation marks undefeated against Warhammer Mephisto. For those of you not into the brevity thing.
That's your given name, correct?
Yeah, this was my mom bestowed this name upon me when I was born, and
She knew you were destined.
She knew my destiny when she looked at me and she's like, "This is the man who will grow up to be undefeated against Warhammer Weekly hosts," and you know, we live
hosts.
So we played on the pillar table, and
Kathy's gonna mess you up, man. Kathy's gonna mess you up.
Yeah, we played on the famous. I'm famous and undefeated. Like, I basically am just. Everything's coming up Millhouse this year for me. I don't know how else to say it.
It's been a great month and a half.
It has.
You know how Jacob and Joe always say, like, property of Rage of Sigmar?
Yeah.
Do you own Warhammer Weekly now?
I think I do own Warhammer Weekly now. They're a subsidiary of RantCast, aren't they? I think I technically, yeah.
I think that's how it works.
I think that's how it works, yeah. Don't worry, they can start a union. They can unionize if they want. I'm woke. Like,
can you get cheaper merchandise, or at least stuff that ships to Canada?
I would love to get one of those coffee cups personally. I think my first act of owner of Warhammer Weekly will be to get coffee cups.
Can't wear white shirts on TV, but there's you see that?
Yeah,
there you go.
No, this is.
Okay, wait, time out. Did you actually get that shipped to you, or did you go in person and pick that up?
I purchased it from Vince at Holy Havoc to support Steve's charity.
Oh, great,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's in person. So that's again no shipping.
You could come and get it for no shipping.
AOS coach here says that he thinks I get to take one of the spots of either Vince or Tom on the show, like at my leisure.
Who are you picking? Who are you picking?
You know what? I think I'm a little bit more of a Tom. So I think my energy. No?
I think maybe each week you switch.
Ooh, I like that.
The thing is, you have to grow the facial hair and grow out the like Boy Meets World.
I gotta shave exactly the middle of my luscious, thick locks of hair too if I'm gonna play Vince, right? Or get a bald cap. No, this game was great. So they were on. So first of all, the community can rest easy. Slaanesh does not need to be nerfed. It has been beaten by. I watched it directly get beaten by Beastclaw Raiders and the underpowered Beasts of Chaos in the same weekend. Boom, mind's blown. I know. So y'all just need to get better. Yeah, crazy. No,
So what you're saying is Tom and Vince suck at Warhammer.
No. We were like gonna get tabled the very next turn. No. They're very good players.
Unless
Vince,
they play you.
But we're just better. Is all. No, it's just no. Vince was. I think it was obvious. Like Vince was really feeling the weight of this fucking ban Slaanesh shit, and so he was playing at like half power. He chased the depravity around the table, And, so, like, I set off a chariot. I just set a chariot and outflank at the beginning of the game, and I, like, set it off it's just a distraction chariot. He actually went over and killed it because he wanted the depravity. I'm like, all right, man. Like, and like, the thing is, like, we were having a blast the whole time. Like, some asshole called me a slow player on chat or something, and I just wanted to find them personally and
Was that me?
And reprimand them sternly, because fuck you, I don't slow play. No, we were having fun. We were talking. We were joking. The interactions between Vince and Tom are fucking hilarious on the table, where they're just like, they're kind of like,
I want that.
They're like panning each other as they're playing the game. I remember they outdropped us by an insane amount. I had 8 drops. I wasn't even bothering to have a low drop count with my army, because since I can stash half of it in ambush, I get all the information I want, and then I just deploy accordingly. And being an army with Wildfire Taurus, I don't really care who goes first or second. Like, most of the time what happens is people out-deploy you, and then they tell you to go first, and so I just put the Wildfire Taurus out in the middle of the table and say, alright, come at me, bro.
Actually, one question before we get a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Are Vince and Tom more Statler and Waldorf, or are they more of a George Costanza's parents in Seinfeld?
I think it's a 50-50.
Oh, wow.
There's some, like, there's like the they're roasting you, but there's also like the back and forth roast between.
Okay.
We had such it was really, I mean, it's gonna go down in history as one of my favorite games of Warhammer ever played. It was
a very historical weekend for you.
Yeah, kind of. Like, in general, this last month and a half, 2 months has just been very good for me. Ever since I sort of like realigned my perspective and set goals and stopped beating myself up so goddamn much. I've had a lot better. Yeah, go on. What were you saying?
Ever since AOS Life Coach came into your life?
Yeah, ever since AOS Life Coach gave me some real talk.
Ever since you started calling him AOS Life Coach, there's this car that drives around that has a vanity plate that says Life Coach on it, and I keep thinking it's Margot here to come give me a talking to.
Yeah, you're gonna get the
and every time it's actually a different old Lebanese man.
A different one every time?
Yeah,
no, just not him. It's the same one. But.
Hey, Bad Moon, how's it going? Yeah, so yeah, we played, they out-deploy us, they gave us the turn. No, I think did they give us the turn?
I feel like you should have been taking notes.
Like
if this is going to be historical record, and you'll be telling your children.
I think
and then you can accurately reflect what happened in your game.
See, that's the thing is, like, I swore that they gave us first turn, but I distinctly recall Tom saying the words, I want the turn. I want the turn. Like, I distinctly recall him saying that. But I think Vince talked him out of it, and then they gave us first turn. Because Joe shoved the pillar. So the pillar at the center of the table, which is the thing you gotta score for the table objective. But, like, the thing is you throw it 3d6 inches in any direction, and it does a d6 holy wounds. So, like, you want to score it, but if you sit next to it, the opponent just at the beginning of their movement phase hurls the pillar at you. So it was, like, really awesome. So, like, we went first. Joe threw the pillar, like, just sideways and away from Slaanesh, essentially.
Just put a little spin on it?
Yeah, well, just a little English, right? Threw it over to the side. And then we run up the table, and just, like, I fan out my screens a little bit, so on and so forth. And then they go. Tom takes a pillar and throws it straight back at Joe's Warlord and his Stonehorn, and hits both of them, rolls the dirty 6 on the mortal wounds, does 6 holy wounds, full to dead, kills Joe's Warlord, and charts his Stonehorn to half. So we have had a great turn 1 so far. It has been a fantastic turn 1. So, like, now the Warlord objectives, which are, like, your Warlord has to do damage and shit, my Warlord is a spellcasting Warlord, whose chief source of damage is an endless spell. See, the spell itself does the damage, not my warlord. So I will never score any of those fucking objectives ever again.
There's your problem. You got to take that friggin' wizard and get him to poke him with the pokey stick.
Well, no,
what you got to do.
You get a gun. You get a gun
Combat
on your
wizard.
yeah. So like I got a gun and I did a bunch of damage with my gun. But like so yeah, whatever. Like
Coward.
Basically, what ends up happening is Joe and I just send waves at the Slanesh half of the table. Just like, here, kill this, just delaying it as long as we can.
Up.
Yeah, just waves after wave. Like, I throw 30 Bestigors at it, immediately turn 1, and then we fight a little micro game against Tom. It comes down to basically the last turn that we're allowed. We get, like, the 15-minute warning, and we're, like, just kind of playing fast, because Steve comes over, and he's like, you know, like, 15 minutes, like, oh, shit. Like, so, like, we go into, like, overtime and, like, trying to, like, play really fast. And one of the objectives for the game, so we had basically scored the table objective the whole time. You couldn't begin scoring until the second round. So we have 2 rounds of scoring it. They haven't scored it yet just because we threw it into our corner like immediately, right? And then we just delayed Slanesh forever.
By the way, so during this story, everybody should have Gary Glitter's #1 smash hit sports song that is.
Yeah, we love us the. Don't make me fun of TV. Yeah, Rant Gang, aka Chat Gang. Yeah. So like we threw it into our corner. So we've scored the table objective twice, and then we've scored what is the battle line objective. So you elect a battle line unit, and it needs to do a bunch of damage, and you just kind of track your damage. And so like I had a unit of Bestigor. Haywo's like Beast Riders or whatever. No, it was just my unit of Bestigor. And then his warlord, which is dead, was the one that was supposed to do the warlord damage or some bullshit. Oh no, it was a hero.
You picked a unit to do damage
and a hero.
A unit to live.
Yeah.
Or a unit to do damage within an objective and a unit to do damage. Period.
Yeah.
Right?
So his unit to do damage within the objective was his Stonehorn that had been charted to shit, and then I had the battle line unit that was supposed to do damage. Just period. Tom picked a unit of Banshees for his battle line unit to do damage, and he put it in the underworld. And he was supposed to bring it up on turn 2, but he didn't. So he brings it up on turn 3. Charges. We just have like all of our wizards and shit, like basically on the board edge, just get locked up by these spooky ghosts. And I'm winning. I think it's 7, and he's done like 4. And I do some quick dirty math, and I look at my like wizards or something like that. I did more than 7. I had to have been in like the double digits. I think he was at 7. And I look at like the wizards and stuff, and like that's pretty much all we have left on the table. Is these fucking idiot wizards. Because Joe's just fucking out the game. and all my shit's been blown up. And nice. I look at and I cast Wildfire Taurus, throw the Wildfire Taurus into my own wizards, and then I take the pillar and I throw it through my own wizards, effectively denying his Banshees the ability to deal any damage. So, like, he can't deal damage to outscore my battle line now because there's no wounds available.
Dirty.
And then Dice Down is Dice Down is called. I felt like I got yelled at by Dad, like Steve Harvey, and he's like Dice Down, like type. He wasn't stirred with it or anything, but like it was like, oh shit, like we were still, you know, kind of talking it through. You know, they go through and they score it up, and we win 3-2 because we got the table objective and we got the one battle line objective. If they had gone to the 2 more rounds that they deserved to go, they would have scored the table objective and we would have pushed on that, so it would have been a tie 3-3. Because
so you still would have been undefeated.
But I still would have been undefeated. And no matter what the hate says or how anyone wants to asterisk my totally legit and 100% can't be contested win, if you were to asterisk it, we still would have tied. So as it stands, undefeated is undefeated, but also having beat them now. So that was great. That's how I ended day 1.
There you go. That's a pretty great day. So whenever it comes to going to a tournament and, like, let's take this doubles one as an example. When you get there, and you do your tournament. What's the after like your 3 games? Like, what do you do immediately
Dinner.
after your like dinner?
Dinner with whoever you just
Straight on.
played. You go like it's been
Love
my ritual has been like, you know, like you run into the people like sort of as you're finishing up your game. Hey,
Yeah.
where are we going to get dinner? And like you just go and get dinner. In this case, we
Aw.
all went to Culver's. Apparently, Culver's is the for that particular tournament and that particular group we ended up with. That is their ritual. They always go to Culver's that night. So
Oh,
we
that's
went to
wonderful.
Culver's. I had the pretzel pub burger. It was delicious. It was fucking delicious.
Very safe call.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then all right, Coach. Thanks for stopping by, my man.
Yeah, buddy.
So we went there. I actually got to finally talk to Mr. Strengthhammer himself, Chuck, at length because like I bumped into him at Adepticon, but it was like, hey, I think I kind of know you. I think I kind of know you. And then like just kind of it's weird the way there's like these like revolving circles of people you talk to at tournaments. And
And you didn't recognize him without his wig?
He had it on in game 1. So.
Yeah, he had the full Teyrathi cosplay game 1, but it was actually cold in that room for once. Like it was the only tournament in the world that had a cold tournament room. So he switched out of it, but he kept wearing the mighty fine hat.
That's disappointing, to be honest.
But yeah, we went we got to talk and hang out. That's when we met. It was Nick and Dan, which were friends of Tom and Vince, and then they basically set up a grudge for day 2 with us. This was their first tournament, so they played us round.
Amazing.
Ended up playing us round 5. While you're on the subject of like what's the ritual of the tournament, I firmly believe get to the tournament the day before.
Yeah,
Oh, God,
yeah,
yeah.
100%.
100%.
100%. Getting there the night of going to bed, waking up, and going to the tournament is a worse experience. Once you're in tournament mode, the days kind of move and fast forward. There is only Warhammer. Like you play Warhammer, you have a lunch, you know, but like even that feels like it's accelerated. Unless you table your opponent like game 1, you're like your lunch is just about enough time to like order it, eat, and then get back in the room.
Okay,
And you're
so
exhausted.
And
if
you're
I'm
exhausted.
flying-
Yeah.
If I'm flying in for a weekend 2-dayer, do I want to get there Thursday? So that way I have Friday to
If you
get my
can,
shit together?
Yes.
that's the greatest thing I've ever done is go to NashCon on the Thursday, or we
Yeah.
actually went on Wednesday, and like just had those 2 days to just hang out with people.
Yes.
And as people came in, we could just hang out, chat, get food, have drinks, like that. That makes the tournament experience so much better.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it really is like a chore. Not a chore is not the right word, right? But like it's you're just occupied the whole time during the games, so you almost miss hanging out with people. Like Andrew said, I at the end of the day on Sunday, I was like, don't even know if I said hi to you.
yeah.
So it's like having that extra time is so nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
okay.
like I said, like Brice is one of my regular circle. You know, we live in the same state and everything. Like this, and like I didn't even get to talk to him this weekend because it you end up in these like you want those days is really the thing is you want that day ahead to like actually hang out. If you need to get into like a pickup game or something like that happens that day, or like playing like some God's Forge or like some other board game, like and that's like your chill time. D&D, I know you guys did at what was that Midwest
Yeah.
Meltdown? You did fucking D&D.
NashCon.
NashCon, yeah, NashCon. You did D&D that like the night before or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
get there the day before, and if you have the option to get there 2 days ahead of time, yeah, people will be there. You're in the hotel life, like you can get a pickup game with somebody, chill before it goes into like kind of fast forward. And the smaller events
Okay,
aren't quite
that's great.
as accelerated as like something like Adepticon. Adepticon, I swear, you have barely enough time to walk your shit between tables, even if you table the opponent. All the other tables are playing, and so you can't even like get set, like move to your next table yet. You're just like you stop and then you hurry up and you go to the next table, and so yeah, it's you gotta get in there early. And you gotta like get some you time and friend time and community time. Otherwise you might not get any. Once I wouldn't
Would
say
you
any. You're just at the whim of the schedule at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's the same with a lot of like any like festivals or anything like that. Like if anybody's ever played those, like as musician or anything, like you get there and then just boom, all of a sudden it's Sunday and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
One question that I always have is, should I be flying out? Because for me, I'll be flying anywhere whenever I go to anything.
Well, you're on an island, so that makes sense.
Well, yeah, and like for the most part,
take
any
a
tournament
boat.
that's going on, I have to go probably 8 hours on a plane or something to get there, or like 5, I think minimum. So would
Should
I
leave
want to?
Monday.
Yeah, just a one dayer.
Yeah.
Just fly in, fly out. My question is, would I want to fly out on the Sunday evening?
Oh,
Like
God.
I know a lot of tournaments. No, 100% no.
Monday.
Okay.
If you have an 8-hour flight, you finish most tournaments at 5, and you just don't want that. So I would fly Monday. I know that's that's what I've done when I've gone things 5 or more hours, and I know like that's what Chuck did for Havoc. He came in day early, stayed a day extra, left on Monday. Then you just have the whole day to travel, and like if you can afford to take the time off to do it, it just makes the whole experience so much better because you're not rushed. You can sit down and talk to whoever you want to. There's usually people that like if you come somewhere and we're there, I'll stay an extra day. We can hang out the night of, the night after, or whatever it is. Like there's people when people make it a big trip, people will take the extra time just to spend the time with those people that we never get to see. So
Yeah.
That's tight. I know I really want to go to something in the next year. I was planning to go to Capital City Bloodbath, which is apparently a great tournament in Ottawa, Ontario,
okay.
the capital of Canada. It's for me, it's like it would have been an 8-hour plane ride, but then I was asking if I could play Tomb Kings because they were in the General's Handbook, and the tournament organizers was like, nah, you can play Legions of Nagash. And I was like, thanks, Dan. And so I skipped it. I skipped out. Like it was going to be my first big tournament. I was super excited. And then whenever it was, no, you can't, I was just like, okay, cool. I'll just take my ball and stay home.
If a flight to Ottawa is 8 hours, what's a flight to Chicago?
Like 10?
Oh, okay.
Well,
Because it was just,
fly over the pond.
it's the stop. Yeah. And then you just keep going.
Yeah.
It's like around there. I don't know. It depends. Like I think with time changes, it might screw it up. I don't know off the top of my head.
Right on. So day 2, we played the game we should have lost the hardest. Round 4 was against Mike Westendorf, Sporadic Mike, and Jeff. I have played Mike in a doubles before. He beat me in my first ever doubles game where I didn't know activations were simultaneous. He was playing with Tom McClure, who is the nicest guy in Warhammer. And it was against Haywo and I on Legions of Nagash at the time. It was a 1250 event, so I actually brought Nagash himself. 40 skeletons and a unit of dogs. It was the greatest ever.
To a 1250 event.
Yeah. And so whatever. They won that game. Nagash did not die, though. He just couldn't beat like a whole army by himself. So yeah, this is like a little bit of a revenge game. Like now I know how the game works.
Love it.
But they were double orcs. They went for the double as their strat. They bet the farm on that double turn. And it worked. Haywo was basically tabled turn 2 because they got there and then they won the double and they tabled Haywo. So then I just have like 30 Bestigors and like my command squad in a corner by my hearthstone, and I have to go 300 on them like Sparta, like fucking Leonidas. And I get lucky with I was kind of talking about this before, I get lucky with the table feature to hand it. It's essentially like a foot of Gork his Maw Crusher off, so then I get to play a real game. And I keep just summoning unit of Ungors on the corner for the table objective, like way the hell over here, to just like keep sort of Jeff's army going back over there to like shore up that objective, and like wicked obliterated my guys in there. And then I did the basically the Seraphon special, which is at the very, very end of the game. I summoned 10 Ungors on the other side on the different table objective, or the mission objective, which was like you had to get to the rally point, and just summon them onto the rally point and like, hey, stole the win. Like, just
Nice.
100% stole a game that we should have been also tabled on.
Right over there.
So that one was really funny. That was a really fun game though. Like, we were like shit talking the whole time. Mike gave me a die because I was talking about like how Beasts of Chaos are like the most metal army in the entire game.
Did you eat it?
No. That's no. I wouldn't encroach on Jacob Berry's brand like
Damn.
that. No, he's like, he looked at my Hearthstone. He's like, the die you are using for your D3 dice rolls are not as metal as they could be. And he hands me a different D3 that exactly matched my paint scheme. It was black with the red numbers, like my Hearthstone's black with the red numbers. This is like a really awesome game.
Love it.
I would play Mike anytime, anywhere, at any event. He's a great guy, and Jeff is a like pretty freaking cool too. I played his IDK at Adepticon at night on Knife to the Heart. Really humble, really good hobbyist, like really into it. So that was a lot of fun. And then 5 we played against Nick and Dan. It was their first tournament ever. Though they weren't like noobs to their army, so they knew what was up. They played him well, and we got a draw on that one. So we got a really not.
Was that Tom's friends that he spoke about on
Yeah.
Warhammer Weekly?
Yeah, we played against
Nice.
them in the last game, and I finally got to put my money where my mouth is about being a community ambassador. I actually got to do that twice because Ricky as well was kind of new, and like people get mad about like slow play and not knowing your rules and so on and so forth. And yes, I do implore you to get your practice games in. Don't show up with an army you've never played before if you've never been to a tournament. All that stuff I talk about, but like, I'm not gonna like bust your chops if that's what happens. Life happens and you end up at a tournament. And these guys certainly weren't in that category, but they knew their armies. So we got to play them. It was really fun. I spent a lot more time talking to Dan than Nick, unfortunately. So I kind of like vibed with him a little bit, and we were just talking in general.
Dan was your favorite, okay.
Yeah, Dan was totally my favorite. No, it was the Cleveland. I'm sorry, Nick was wearing a Cleveland Browns jersey, and I just couldn't. Miles.
You had to console him?
Yeah, I couldn't get around that. No, I'm kidding. No, we played the game. It was that table was the Skaven table. We both got the Warlord objective, we both got the main objective, which is free the person. I deployed poorly, allowing them to just like get it for free because I thought it was 3 inches off the model. It was 3 inches off of the zone, which ended up being 13 inches. Like, so I would have zoned better, but like that's on me. They played exactly how they should have. So they got that, we got ours, and then we pushed on the table objective versus the like unit objective thing, where like these little markers, these little like warp stones fell on units. They fell on their units every single time. Like, so it's like on your turn roll a die and then like 1 to 6 compared to the chart, like a unit in your territory, an enemy unit in your territory, an allied unit in your territory, an enemy unit in their territory, blah blah blah. Every time it ended up on one of their units, and they just like ran them into a corner and hid them, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like they played how they should. It's just like it was unfortunate that like there was no way to like interact with that part of it. But yeah, so that was a cool game. Apparently, yeah, it was a cool game, and again, a money where your mouth is moment for me to be an ambassador and just be nice to people trying to get into the tournament scene and be like, hey, we're not all whack assholes just trying to crush you and think you're a free win. I'm just here to have a good time.
Love it. That sounds awesome.
So, Brice, how was your day 2? And while you go through your day 2, I'm gonna go talk to Molly real quick because she birthday party stuff for Colin coming up next weekend.
Molly. Bye, Lou.
So, so game 4 against not just my 2 favorite people in Warhammer, but probably 2 of my favorite people in life in general. I got to play Domus and Tom.
Oh, nice.
And they're both good friends of mine, and one that Ty really likes too. So we wanted to make sure we got a chance to play them.
That's great. I've heard the interactions I've had with Domus online have always been super sassy, and I appreciate that.
Yep. So they were playing. Domus had a bunch of the flesh eater courts that scream at you. I can't think of their name right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Nah, Crypt Flayers.
Yes.
So he was a super fast army against my super fast army. They deployed back thinking, or we gave us top of turn. We moved up, or no, we moved back, and then they moved up thinking, if they get a double turn, they can't get everything to us. Turns out we got the double turn and got everything to them because I could run and charge that turn. So Domus was like, "Oh fuck, we lost," and I was like, "No, you didn't. I have 6 heals, man.
Just you wait."
6 heals. I did kill one full unit of 6 flares, and then they proceeded to take their turn and killed everything else. But we were playing on the Skaven table, which is super cool because there's like the warp reactors. There's 3 of them across like a diagonal across.
That table's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I just can't get over how cool.
Yeah.
Like whenever Steve goes off on a table, it's just bonkers, and that's just me from literally 3 time zones away, being like,
I know, and then you see him in person, and it's like, holy shit, it's even better than what you expected.
Night, Andrew.
Good night, Andrew. So yeah, you pray basically on that table too, or you get blessed, whatever Skaven believe in, and
I don't know, just doing this with their tails and saying 13 a lot. It's like prayers.
Yeah. On a 4-up, you get to fight when you die. So
okay, that's insane.
Yeah. So basically, everything that I killed of his got to fight, and then I got to fight it back, which is how I was able to kill his whole unit. And then he killed.
Nice.
I actually rolled really well for my saves, but then we lost the turn, and then everything went downhill. But just a blast.
And then it all went downhill from there.
I think we ended up scoring a point in that game somehow too. I don't quite know how it was, but somehow it happened. So,
it was all a blur. I couldn't even write it down in my journal.
Yeah, I wrote down us 1, them 7. So
the description really, it just brings it out. Like, and friggin' Mephisto thinks he's the writer. Hello.
Yeah, I wrote top of 1, us. Top of 2, us. Then I died. All of my bottom of 2.
And then I died.
So, but that's where that super cool picture came from of my eels under the bridge, like.
Oh yeah. That was a great shot.
Yeah, that was a cool picture. So that was aside from the wonderful opponents, that was the highlight of that game.
Oh God. I got the shot, bro.
So that was game 4, and then game 5, we moved back to the Daughters of Cain table and played against a couple names you just heard, Mike Westendorf and Jeff.
Okay,
and
can we get a bit more descriptions on Jeff?
Yeah, I'll tell you all about
Jeff.
I'll tell you all about Jeff.
I wasn't comfortable sharing Jeff's last name because he's not necessarily a community.
It doesn't have to be like what his last name is, his social security number, stuff like that. I just want to know who this guy is, because right now I just have in my mind a picture of the dude named Jeff that lives around me, and just like, great.
So
actually, shouts to Jeff Leckie, he's my guy.
I make fun of Jeff all the time because his Twitter handle is super close to Tyler Mangle.
Yeah, Mangled Minis instead of Mangle Minis.
Yeah, so I make fun of him all the time for that.
I think I've actually tweeted at him before.
But he didn't know when he did his Twitter handle.
That's what he says.
You think so?
No, he seems like he didn't actually know, but I met him the first time.
Is this the medium pants scenario again?
Yeah. It might be. That might be it. Yeah, so Jeff is a really good painter. They make fun of him all the time because he watches like Vince's and Warhammer TV videos to learn how to paint, which is what you should do because those are great resources. And
why do people make fun of him for that?
It's just how people just make fun of each other for random stuff. It's not actually
is Jeff the human punching bag?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. He's a good hobbyist, but then like all the other hobbyists are snarky with him. I guess like it's that hobby elitist thing going on.
Yeah.
The worst kind.
Yeah, but Jeff is great. He's also super bad at rolling dice.
Yes,
was kind of his strong point all weekend. He charged the Maw Crusher into my Warlord and managed to do 1 wound. Not get 1 through. He did 1 wound, which I saved.
Wait, what?
So he did 0 0 total damage.
I
With the Maw Crusher on turn 1.
Yeah, his so I mentioned how I kept
Jeffrey.
throwing a distraction battle line into the corner. His Maw Crusher would fail to kill them. Like
that sounds right, yeah.
Like we stole game 4. Like we stole it. With the table thing being awesome and Jeff's dice just betraying him.
Game.
Yeah.
Was Jeff using faction dice or what?
He was using the Facehammer dice. Those I kept calling them green, and I kept calling them yellow, and he kept saying no, they're neon green.
See,
which
there's
is
the problem. He has to get Team England dice.
Ty's also color blind, so he kept asking what dice were marking the wounds, and Jeff would say, "Oh, the yellow one," and Ty'd be like, "Can't tell if it's fucking yellow or green." But this game was
that explains a lot about Ty. Continue.
Yeah, this was nuts because like in the center of the table there was a prisoner, or 2 prisoners, one from each army, and so they took a hero from army, and it was in prison, so you didn't get to use. So I put my Tidecaster, and Ty put his assassin in prison. And each game we picked one thing like that we really wanted to do because we knew we couldn't really score more than 1 or 2 points, so we focused on that 1 or 2 things. And for this game, it was the prison break, which was like what it was all about anyway. So we're like, we're gonna go for this. We're gonna get these guys out of prison, and we're back on the cane table again. Jailbreak
by Thin Lizzy plays in the distance. Continue.
Yeah. So we're in the realm of shadow, and if you're familiar with the command ability,
it's the bridge.
Yourself board edge to another board edge. So they moved forward, and we're like, "Ooh, is there 6 inches of room in the prison?" Sure as shit, there was. So we teleport into the prison. Each had a command point. Each teleported to opposite ends of the table, and then used one of the realm spells to move ourselves again. So he moved his general with his command ability to the prison, used the spell to teleport himself back over to the other side of the table, and both of the heroes in prison teleported out of prison to the other side of the table. So it was the most epic jailbreak of all time.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's what I tried to capture in this picture. Like, you can see my Tidecaster way on this close edge of the table, and then Ty's is way on the other edge of the table. And it's like, yeah, it was great.
Oh, Star-Crossed lovers. It's too bad.
Yeah, and then we ended up actually scoring a point in this game as well, because it was the drop warpstone stuff on units that Andrew was talking about.
Yeah.
And
bullshit randomness. No, go on.
My warlord did a bunch of damage to those units, so we ended up capturing this one. So we netted the tournament with 4 total points.
Amazing.
Nice.
And you were right. You know what? I expected you to get over a D6, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
4 points.
It was
whatever. Flex on them with your trophy scoreboard.
Yeah,
it's true.
I'm happy we went 4-0-1. Like I was happy with like the victory thing. The points were like a means to an end. If you cared about like the big trophy at the end, I cared about winning games with Beasts of Chaos and Beastclaw Raiders.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So this is the only tournament I think in the world. The first trophy that they give out is the Battle Points trophy.
And then nothing else.
So it's the big award, yet it's the most meaningless. Steve even is like, because people ask, but I give it out first because I care about all the other ones.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like it's. Oh man, like you got to try for it. That's true, but part of it is like the tables are like, they just can steal games and wins and like the way the tables play, and that's what makes it fun is because it's a puzzle that you're solving in real time, as opposed to like a linear plan that you have going in and you stick to your strategy, you know.
Yep.
And that's what I thought was the most fun for me is like someone who likes the like cerebral element and solving puzzles. Like it was. You know, I'm basically the Dr. House of Age of Sigmar. No, no, it's like the tables are a puzzle to be solved, and that's really fun. It's something that no other tournament really has going for it that I've been in anyway. Where like the table is a puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I loved that. It was like someone saying, "Here, have a Rubik's cube. Oh, now push your models around on the table." I'm like, yeah, and like I'm trying to solve the Rubik's Cube and push models around. It was great.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Well, that sounds awesome. Gosh, this tournament seems like it was a whale of a time.
Oh yeah.
So, do you have I always like to ask this, do you have a non-tournament related moment that was a highlight for you?
Great
Brice?
question. Great question.
Non-tournament
Yeah,
related.
I should say non-game related tournament thing that was a highlight of the weekend for you.
What was your favorite part that was not in a game?
Yeah.
Well, so part is I traded my Skaven army. So that was really
you traded your Skaven army
for an ogre army.
Okay.
Hey, topical. What's up?
So yeah, so I have now 200 points of ogres, which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
Get large.
But
that's a large deal.
it's not just because he's my friend, but getting to spend a weekend with Ty. Like, I know people think all the time that I'm from Milwaukee, and like I'm a guy from Milwaukee. I used to be. I lived there, 4 years ago now, and I don't get to spend a ton of time with those guys. And anytime that I get to just spend a whole weekend with Ty and get to just hang out and relax, and we've been going through some stressful stuff lately, and just the escape. And it's always the people for me, no matter what the event is. Like, I don't care. I truly don't care that I scored 4 points. Like, it doesn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Super stoked to win the award, which, I mean, probably is the biggest thing from the weekend. It's for me, the Holy Awards are something that I always shoot for, and to win that award with people like Vince and Tom and all the other great people that were there, that was...
I love how sheepishly you did that. Maybe it might be the biggest award at the top
one
2 hobby tournament.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, I mean, it is validation. Like, I remember calling you a hobby hero in one of the RantCasts you were on. You've been on 3 now. I don't know if you're keeping track.
3 time.
Yeah, the 3 time. Three times.
I'm only at 2.
Yeah. So one of them, and you kind of like laughed a little nervously there. I'm like, no, dude, you really are like one of the, like, if I have hobby advice, I've got a handful of people I'm gonna ask questions, and you're one of them.
You never ask me questions.
Yeah, because you play Tomb Kings.
All you do is paint Tomb Kings, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience.
If I need to know how to do a sandy base, I'll come to you, bro.
Well, actually, my bases suck.
Well, Brice's bases are great, by the way. Like,
I know, it's really annoying.
We actually bonded over that in a chat over RantCast previously. Is basing gives me anxiety more than painting.
Yeah, 100%.
I fucking love basing.
I will not progress with an army because I don't know what base to do with it. Right now, I don't know what to do with my OBR. It's okay. I'm gonna blue tack them into my handy dandy paint grips and paint them that way. But we'll do some. We'll do that. We can do that off. We can do that off stream. We'll talk about the paint grips, and you can give me some paint some basing ideas for my OBR, because I'm gonna be more ambitious than I've been with anything so far. I'm gonna be ambitious because I'm probably in this army for the long haul, so I can't be upset with this first batch of Mortek Guard, because I just foresee future Andrew selling off an entire army and buying the new boxes again to get them up to like what my new standard is of painting, So I'm gonna go hard. So you walked away with a great hobby award here, and in one of the hardest hobby, focused tournaments, I think, and that had to be like a really great moment of validation. I just think so. Yeah, paint grips.
Yeah, no, it truly was. I mean, just when it was like, when we narrowed it down to the top 3, and like to see my model posted next to Vince's model, and like, not to, everyone thinks Vince is a great painter, right? Like, there's no question, but like, I learned a ton of painting from Heath, who's someone probably only like 3 people that will listen to this know. He used to manage our GW and like taught me tons of stuff.
Yeah, he was at Brew City.
Yep. But then, I mean, like, I watch hobby cheating videos like every night to go to bed. Like, I'm just constantly watching.
Well, so your model was sitting up next to one of your heroes.
Yeah.
So in the sense that I got to beat one of my content creator heroes, so that it's almost like I make as good of content as Vince because I beat him on the table. You got to put your great hobby model up next to a hero. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
It was. See, I mean, it was a weekend of validation for a lot of people. I think it was a good weekend. My favorite moment.
Fuck you, my army's really nice. Shut up.
No, you actually do have some great looking stuff too. Can attest. He actually ended up raising about $3,000 for charity for
Hessen House.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I love that.
He had like going into it like around was like 8K or like 7K, and he went over.
Can we say what he said? He said we raised over 10 grand. Get someone who recently came out in the closet.
Yeah. Oh, the closet. Oh yeah, we're gonna get them a closet. They're gonna get their own closet because we raised 10 grand. Someone's gonna get we're gonna sponsor someone for a closet, and then like the whole room. No, they get like a little starter home and. Like it was,
it's way better than a closet, but it was just that was a pretty funny way.
No, like there are, but yeah, so it's like for the what was the charity?
Gone.
Hessen House. Yep.
Yeah.
Have we had a sub yet, by the way?
What's it?
No sub. We have had bits, but no sub. No
okay,
subs.
If I get a corgi on camera, can we get a sub?
Could we get a sub if there's a corgi on camera, folks?
If we get a sub, I'll go get a greyhound.
There we go.
Look at that. Also he really wants a treat. So
two doggos for the price of one sub right now, being offered, and Odin will get a treat. So bribery.
I will give Rico a Hawkins cheesy.
Hawkins cheesy. Yeah. So no, I mean there's. It's become a trend in a lot of these Age of Sigmar tournaments to have like a charity that they're sort of working
100%.
for.
Amazing.
And I just have to say that, I used gaming for so much of my life to escape poverty and like, and mental health issues and stuff like that. Like I became like gaming saved my life in a sense because I'm an abused kid cliche. I had my goth phase. No one's surprised by that. Bucket Ninja with a tier 1 sub. Ooh.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be double doggos now.
Look it.
I'll be right back.
All right. You got to go get a greyhound while I'm on this little sidebar here.
Should we have Odin say thank you?
Odin, can you say thank you? Odin.
Speak. I'm going to do it from my lap. Get down. Come here. Sit. Speak.
Okay, we got to...
Speak.
For those of you on pure audio, it's an adorable corgi.
One more time. Speak. There you go.
There we go. Thank you so much for that sub. Enjoy the emotes. There's a lot of them. Folks, go ahead and spam all those emotes. Let him know what he's got. Yeah, I used gaming to escape my situation. Mom was bipolar, dad left before I was born. If you follow me for any degree of time, I don't hide any of this about me because I think it helped make me who I am. And I'm pretty okay with who I am now, but like I had to have help getting here. And my mom, there's one night we actually like got my mom got pretty badly beat up, and I got badly beat up too trying to protect her, and we ended up in a hospital. And from there, we ended up in an abused woman's home. And shortly after that, we ended up on the street. We lived in a hotel for a little while because my mom knew the manager. It was a bad time. And, that sort of stuff compiles and contributes to a lot of, like, the mental health issues I have. So that this charity, help... When a kid goes hungry, you don't realize what it does to them mentally. The fear of the survival instincts, all those things that happen. And so for this charity, and then Brew City also had for the mental health Milwaukee, these two charities were just like, they really hit close to home for me. And so it was like, I bought my charity die, and I wasn't very liquid at the time, so I could only buy the die, and I couldn't really buy a ton of raffle tickets. And I'm like, man, but like that other people stepped up. and like it was really awesome, and he was getting choked up there, kind of like talking about it, and I think it is great that you have these excellent events that give back. You know, people would tell us nerds all growing up that gaming is just a game, it's just a game, right? And you can actually go, no, actually, we're doing stuff with our just a game. And I think that's really special. And I love this community for stepping up at all these events that have these charity things, for the raffles, buying your charity dice. I mean, keep going. And that's actually not too bad of a segue into this Escalation League, which is kind of finding a way to connect the community that maybe doesn't live in a decent like hotspot for gaming, like Milwaukee or Detroit or Chicago or wherever y'all game at. Where you're kind of disconnected from this tournament scene, where you can't, you know, where you have to really kind of make it a point to go to an event, otherwise you're not going to get any Warhammer. Yeah, Coach, I'll hit you up. Yeah, I'm always open about my stuff because, like I said, I'm not ashamed of it. It's a part of who I am. It's part of what I went through. I see other people struggle with some mental health issues, and they're ashamed of how they grew up, and it's like I kind of made it a point to be like a little bit of a beacon and be okay with all my own stuff, because then maybe other people will be okay with theirs. For a while I thought it like I was worried to do it because you think people are going to think you're whiny when you're open about your mental health issues and stuff. Like there's a fear that like people think you're whining about shit, and I'm like, I'm not whining, you know. I'm not throwing a pity party. I'm gonna get through it, but like sometimes you need to know, hey, we're having bad days, or I'm just not feeling 100% Mephisto today, or whatever your thing's going on. But to know that there's other people out there, I think is a big deal, especially in like the Age of Sigmar community, because I think we do leave a lot of it on the table, and that's a great thing about Age of Sigmar. But like for those that need a little bit of a nudge or a little bit of a helpful hand on the back type thing holding you up, you've got folks like us around, I think.
I think part of it too is like each of us has been through our own shit, right? So talking about it and just knowing that like it might not be the same situation, but hearing that you've gone through that or whatever I've gone through, and like knowing that we made it and we're here, and you're very vocal about it. I think I am too. Like, if you ever want to talk, I'll give you my phone number. I won't say it right now because I don't want to be on YouTube, but I don't care who you are or what you've been through. I'll talk to you about anything that happened, and I know you will too. So
yeah, I opened up my DMs recently for that reason. So I've opened DMs. Please don't spam me with your dick pics. I'm sure they're fantastic, so nice. I'm sure you have a magnificent smack, but I don't need to see it. But yeah, my DMs are open if you ever need to, and like I can't like necessarily out of like drop of a hat, but I will read it and I will get back to you if you ever have that. Just talk, and don't you don't need to be on a public platform. That can be really scary too, because there is that stigma about it. There are people who might judge you, tell you you're whining, or quit throwing your pity party. But I'm not one of them, and Brice isn't one of them, and I know Tomb Dad's not one of them. So if you need to just talk, you just blow steam, my DMs are open. How do I? Yeah, and then so the Escalation League is what I wanted to talk about tonight with both of y'all, and this kind of. I mean, I think I know how it started, but I want to know your perspective on like how did this go from just something that was like a joke to a real thing?
So the RantCast happened. What was episode 6 maybe?
Gaming on an Island, I believe, was 6. Right. Yeah.
So it happened, and I talked about it, and I said, like, let's do the whole. And then Tristan had messaged me and was like, yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in doing that. And I think we had, chatted back and forth, and we had sent some messages and ideas. And I think he thought we were like still brainstorming, and then I just fucking made it. and,
Yeah.
and he's like, I guess we're doing this. So I was like, what's the point in waiting? I think there's still a path that we want to take it down and things we want to do, but like, let's learn together and make it work. And like, I think people are along for the ride. So I think really good things are going to come, and it might not be perfect in the beginning, but I think growing and giving everyone the platform right away is what I really wanted. Cause like, there's
We'll do it now, right?
1 people in the chat as of today, which blows my mind. Like,
It's insane. Sorry, it's gonna take me a while to catch my breath. That dog weighs over 80 pounds, and I had to carry him up the stairs and down the stairs from my basement.
Yeah, so Bucket Ninja here referencing the Escalation mixtape in the background. First off, because my audio would get clipped, and then I can't export this to YouTube. But what's really great is like, so right now in the Escalation League, you're coming up with an army theme song, right? Or like,
yeah, it's something I don't know. I just sort of came up with today where I was listening to music. I was like, man, this would make a sick intro if I was like, just thinking about my army. I was just like, you could be riding into the distance. This is amazing. This is what the montage would be. Oh man, this would be like the theme song for whatever. It's something that I always do with all my armies, and like I get way too specific about it.
Yeah.
And so like I was just like, okay, for my Tomb King's Warcry force, I got like, okay, I want funk music, but I want some like really specific African funk music. So I found a Sudanese funk band called the Scorpios, and they are amazing. And they got this ripper of a track called Mashena, and it's so good. It's all in Arabic, and it's just absolutely rips.
So
I played it for my neighbors across the street, and they were like, that's Arabic. And I was like, yeah. He was like, but you're so white. I was like, yeah. And he was like, this is a really good song. And like they're first generation Canadians, so like they're just so confused, and they're amazing. Like we trade food back and forth. But what I'm trying to say here is, I just sort of put it out there. I was like, guys, like, or like people, let's go. Like, how about just come up with something? It's not something that I talked to Brice about. I just assume he'd be fine with it because it's a sick mixtape, and I've always loved making mixtapes.
So you're actually gonna make a mixtape tape of everybody's. Yeah. That's awesome.
Of everybody's songs. Like we got a playlist right now on Spotify. I'll send you the link to it so you can post it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll get all the show notes up. Yeah.
Right now I think there's a dozen or so tracks in it, and there's some really funny ones, really good ones.
Oh man, see, I was gonna do "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains, but I see the bar's been set high. I'm gonna go harder.
Some research has to be done.
It's pretty awesome. And I know like you can actually get cassette tapes printed like super cheap. So if we want to, like, we can actually get a cassette made and do like artwork and like have it so we can
sell
play
it for charity. Huh?
Yeah, 100%.
Proceeds go to charity. Let's get that going.
So I'm actually running a tournament December 7th in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island at the Comic Hunter if anybody wants to sign up. And we're going to be doing it all for charity, all proceeds. The store gave us the space for free. And so all proceeds are going to be going to a local women's shelter that's super low on funds perpetually. It's the only one of its kind on PEI that's just dedicated to women. And for about like $200 a night, or for $200, we can get a night, or we can get a week for somebody and like full service for everything. So I'm hoping to at least make 200, and that's off of like maybe 10 people. So there's going to be a whole lot of things rolling around. Like we do things called like 50-50s, where I'm sure everybody does that something happen at like sporting events? Yeah, so we're going to be running like a 50-50. It's going to be buying re-roll dice for like $5. The entry fee for the tournament's going to be set at like $20-25, and so like all the money from that's going to be going for it, and I'm going to try and get some local donation stuff going too.
So there's this really cool thing that Domus talks about all the time, and I forget where it happened, but in the game you could buy a reroll.
Yeah.
So like not just like you buy one reroll, like for $1 you could buy a reroll, and then your opponent could buy a reroll, and you could keep going back and forth and back and forth.
We did this in Drunk Magic.
There was no limit on it. So
Love that.
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
I think that's what I'm gonna be doing. It's a 1,500 point one dayer, and
Yeah.
I just want to try and like milk the whales for all that they're worth.
Well,
And like we got a couple players that are a little bit like crunchy like that, and like they will for sure drop money to win.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna abuse it. It's gonna be great.
well, I mean, if you're abusing it for charity, hell yeah, right? Like
Man.
this is like people want to pay to win anyway. Like, might as well make it for a good cause.
Yeah.
So I guess
Shouts to my boy Alan.
I feel like I need to or anyone playing Slanesh right now. Ayo, sorry.
Oh, boo. Boo,
bad,
that's not true.
bad take. No, sorry. No, I knew Slanesh was in the chat right now. I had to throw that softball that way.
Boy Slaniche.
Slaniche.
He's my guy.
Good dude.
100%. Like
Will's episode on Rage of Sigmar was my favorite so far.
He's
by
an
far.
absolute gem.
By far.
If I ever get my act together, we're gonna have a podcast. But
by the way, what was it? The like your pleasure in increasing your pleasure in Age of Sigmar. I thought it was a really great take. So go check that out if you can, and then be sure to give Jacob Berry shit while you're doing it, because he deserves it.
100%.
But no. To reset real quick, what is the International Escalation League? So it's this brainchild between Brice and Tristan.
This guy.
More Brice, right? Because this was born
Yeah.
out of the Appleton sort of attempt at an escalation league, and then
And they failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it really was just that. I've always loved the idea of an escalation. I love the idea of Path to Glory. I just love the idea of like having a reason to play and not just like, oh, we're gonna roll dice and see what happens. And it's fun, but like for me, being able to tell a story from game to game to game to game, and even to tell a story between what's happening in our game and what's happening in their game, and like just have this. Like, I'm not a good writer, I'm not a great storyteller, but I have ideas, so like I can like put the ideas out there and other people can run with them.
Bryce, I'm gonna stop you right there. One half of being a good writer is having an idea. The other half is writing it down. Whether you're actually good at the art of writing itself completely doesn't matter. Seriously. Have you read E.L. James' book or J.K. Rowling? J.K. Rowling's not a particularly proficient writer. She just had the idea for Harry Potter and she put it down. Like,
Well, no, she took the idea from the series called Magic. Great comic.
a lot of stuff. And a lot of other hot takes that can spiral off of that. The point is like having an idea is one half. I talked about like okay,
We lost
Tomb Dad's dead. Tomb Dad's down.
Sorry, Tomb King's curse. Continue.
No, there's a pretty famous story I'm told in some other stuff, and I'll kind of avoid that to come up with. I was on writer's block at the beginning of the year, which is what started the spiral towards RantCast becoming a thing, by the way. Crazy how I ended up here. But
It's a beautiful
basically,
place. Love the
basically,
drapes.
I've never had writer's block. I'm 34 years old. I have wanted to be a writer since I was in the 2nd grade. I have written stories and books since then. I have professionally aspired to be a writer for the last 14 years, as in sent out stuff, get rejected, sometimes make a little bit of money. I have a couple published works out in the world under JV Hagen. Go ahead and look them up. But like, I have never in that
review on Goodreads.
Yeah, go Goodreads and check out lulu.com. My stuff's on there. I have
Does Lulu have a website?
No, she doesn't. It's a total coincidence, but she is my muse.
It's Lululemon. Continue.
Anyway, in that span, I have never not had the next idea. I've never thought I was a great writer because I was a good writer. I just took for granted having the next idea. And then I would like run into like other writers and like they're at workshops and stuff. They're like, "Oh, this is my idea. This is my series for the rest of my life." And I'm like, "Weird. Like I want to write all these things." I know. I'm a monster. But then to have writer's block where the next idea didn't come, and I couldn't put something on paper. The thing is, like, I'm not always finishing stories, but I'm always starting stories. I always have the next idea, and that's been my problem is finishing things. But to not have ideas. You don't realize, Brice, how much of a talent that is, just having ideas. And so, like, don't disparage if you don't think you're a good writer. half the battle is having the idea, and the other half is making it happen. And you're making it happen right now, so fucking keep crushing it, my man. Long tangent, long rant to get to that point. Yeah. So you got ideas. You like how the stories, the narratives, having a reason for rolling dice. You've with the Escalation League, you're essentially setting hobby goals too as you go along.
Yeah, and that's another big thing for me. Like, I think a lot of local community is all about playing games and not about painting. And I like playing games, but I love painting and doing hobby and then hanging out with people. So I play games because I have to. But so I always try to encourage people to try to do something different and like to convert their models, even if it's switching a weapon or put something on your base that tells your story. So I thought this was a good way. And it's not that I know how to do all kinds of stuff and I think I can teach people. It's more that I just want to take the chance to try to do that kind of stuff. Because what's cooler than playing a game with an army that's meaningful and like you have all this history with the army that while you're there, what that model did in the last game, you remember that kind of shit if you make reason for them being there. So that's the kind of stuff that I like am trying to encourage through this.
Well, yeah, and I feel like it's been quite successful already because I know I care so much more about the few models that I put together already because they have names, they have a place, they have a purpose. It's great. Like, and I think that's something that's already been really successful. That's come out of what you've thought and what you wanted to do. Like, I feel like you're absolutely crushing that goal so far.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I like that you kind of mentioned on the RantCast where we were kind of talking about the Appleton one was like bit swaps. You to kind of like you're not just incorporating your narrative on your base necessarily, but like you have these evolving narratives with other players in the International Escalation League, and to like be like, hey, like what if we set up this narrative where this thing happens? Could I get some of your bits? And then like they send you like some extra Stormcast heads or whatever, and you throw them on your Herdstone or whatever it may be, or on your basing materials.
And I'd say we've barely even, I don't even think we've surfaced yet in what I want it to be, because like the main thing too is I wanted to take a reasonable way, because I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I can't paint 500 points in a month, I can't do it. Like, I don't care if you paint one model in the month, you can still tag along and finish it as you can. But as we go and as like, so our generals are there, our backstories are there, now it's mustering your force to move to the next step. And then that's where like the battles are going to start happening, and that story is really going to start to blend together. Right now it's everyone's individual stories, but I think together the two of us have work to do to figure out, how are we going to take this to the next step where 750 points has a reason to grow, and like where are we, what's happening, that kind of stuff. So I think as we provide more of the where we are, what's happening, and people are providing the how they get there, the opportunity to do cool stuff on your bases, or give your general a mount, or give this unit mounts, or give this unit different weapons. Like, yeah, not everyone's going to cut apart their models, but maybe people will build new models that fit that theme or fit that idea. So,
I mean, and you always end up with extra bits in your bits when you build something too. So like I've got all these spears now for my Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Like I'm jumping in on a little bit of a delay because I was waiting for my Bone Reapers. I want that to be my escalation army. So like I've got some bits to spare. I've got they came with 4 extra heads. I've got some extra heads to throw around if we go into this narrative aspect.
I know, and like we've already had some bit swaps. Like I know Mo and Fletchbomb are 2 guys who have swapped bits. Like I know, like I'm pretty sure Mo during our feed just gave away a High Elf Lord on Griffin.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
like during the show, because Fletch gave him like some bits that he was looking for. He was like, "Oh no, just pay it forward." Like obviously, like we are now friends on the internet. Yeah. Just give me your home address.
Yeah, just leaning into the camera eerily with eyes wide. And so you've got a Discord for this, and the Discord link, you're pretty much going to have to message Brice or Tristan to get it, because you might have a non-expiring link or something like that, but it could a little bit easier.
Nah, I've still kept it expiring.
Okay.
Because...
Yeah, so just message those guys. You can get it on the Discord. And
100%.
there was
at Tristan Gray. Let's go.
Yeah, Adam. And so you can talk to him about how he's wrong about Garage Hammer, as well as ask for the Discord link.
KSR or Superstore can suck it. Fuck that ad drop.
That's where the real hate comes from.
Oh man, I can't wait. Look, so if you're a sponsor of some sort and you're looking to get in on RantCast, I will gladly sell you my morals for honestly like a very small amount. If you need me, like I've got like the thing I use to upload this in this pure audio form. It has a button for inserting ads. I am so ready to go with that. So if you need,
let's go.
My morals are easily for sale with RantCast.
Shouts to Mini Mag Tray. Let's go.
Yeah, Mini Mag Tray.
Yeah.
They don't need me. So this International Escalation League. If you were to give me the elevator pitch, like I'm hopping, like you've got like a couple minutes to sell me on what this is and why I should get into it, just in case someone's like jumping in here later. They had to go hang clothes on their clothesline, coach. What would you say? I'm gonna let you both. Tristan, let's go with you first, and then Brice, you answer.
Okay. If you are the type of person who can't really get out, can't really get the games in at the local store, then this is a great place for you to be. It's a whole bunch of people who are just looking to have a good time and be supportive and try to push themselves and to get better at something. Everybody's sort of picking up at some spot. So if you're someone who's super good at hobby but not great at coming up with ideas for stories, then we have like a narrative hook for you to grip onto. If you're somebody who's never really experimented with painting and stuff, different techniques, and this is a great excuse for you to step outside your comfort zone and have a supportive group to go along with you. You basically have friendship in your pocket if you have Discord on your phone. Like, there's been so many wonderful interactions with people. Lots of different ideas have been bipped and bopped around. It's a space where you're able to just try something new and feel completely safe while doing it. We've been super lucky that we've had so many passionate people jump on board, and it's something that you can accomplish something, and just by doing one thing, you can feel like you've done something with a big group of people to increase not only your pleasure whenever it comes to the game, but everyone else's too. Like, you're able to make friends, and like as an adult, it's really hard to do it. And this is a great space for you to like stretch your legs a little bit, to try being not so much not yourself, but to try to push yourself to be that person that you want to be in the hobby. I know we've been like blown away by how kind people are and by how much people are getting done. Like, just having people in your pocket be like, oh, that's a great idea, do it, have made bunches of people start things, try new things. I know specifically our boy Buckets Ninja 31, or Buckets as he's known in a lot of other places. He's finished a bunch of stuff.
Wait, hang on. If Buckets went to Holy Wars, would he be Holy Buckets?
Oh man,
godly Buckets.
Anyway,
but like, he's finished stuff off, and he just said in chat, and I was trying not to choke while like speaking before, but like he was saying like he's never really accomplished anything like fully in the hobby, and like we've set goals and he's smashed them. Like, I haven't, like, to a point, I haven't finished my lore. Like, I haven't finished my general. He's still in gray plastic somewhere around here.
Oh, you monster!
Yeah, what can I say? I'm failing the own goals that I'm setting. It's great, but for us, it's just been amazing to have people every day who are supportive and just want to hang out and chat the hobby. And it's just been an amazing like type of energy that's in the room there in the Discord. And I think it's something that you can just pick and choose what you want to do. Like you can pop in, like you haven't been in the Discord for like a week and a half.
Yeah, I've got no good excuses apart from the October Marathon, which is a pretty good excuse.
And like,
really successful.
but yeah, no, it's a good excuse. But like, you haven't been there, and like, you haven't been there in forever.
Yeah.
And there have been people who've been just like blowing you up, like just talking about it, and it's gonna like as soon as you log back on, you're gonna be like, that's so much. Why are people talking to me?
Yeah, no,
and you're gonna love it because like there's already pages and pages of people's lore, and it's been great. I've been blown away by like some of the creativity stuff that people have been doing. It's wild. Like people have been rewriting songs to specifically the lore. It's nuts. But that's my elevator pitch. It's a very long elevator ride, but
no, you hit the stop button and you're like, I promise you I'm not crazy, just listen to me. Listen. No, that was an appropriate rant there. No, I do apologize. I haven't been more of a presence in there, and
whatever. I was just trying to use an example that you can step away from it and step back in and just be blown away by the creativity, and then not feel pressure either. Like that's the other thing. It's not like it's a dog pile of like, why isn't that done?
Yeah.
It's, oh, dude, that's so cool. Talk to you later, and. Like, you don't feel pressure to get stuff done. You just want to because everyone else is doing it, and you just kind of get swept up in this, like, hobby, like, mosh pit where everyone's just like, let's go, two-step, let's go, prime stuff, let's go, contrast. It's great.
It's Lovin' an Elevator is the Aerosmith Elevator song.
Elevator Love Letters, better song. Continue.
No, so I mean, that's led to a question I have, but I want Brice's elevator pitch, and if you need to hit the emergency stop button and go for a while, feel free to, my friend.
Well, I mean,
I got a bottle to pee in. I'm ready.
That's pretty much the pitch right there, right? But the one thing that I would reinforce is just the positivity from every single person in it. It's like we all really like when we post something and get a bunch of likes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you always look at it and you feel really good about that post you make that gets 100 likes, and you remember that post.
I've never gotten 100 likes.
I was gonna say subtle flex there, Mr. Man. Like I wrote that day down in my calendar.
Yeah, so you know, whatever.
That's a pin tweet for me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But those moments are like important, and in here it's like every single thing you do, everyone is like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. And like it really is. It's just cool to see people, like even seeing in chat like 4 comments saying I've never really done anything, it's motivated me more, I've gotten stuff actually done. Like that kind of stuff, like to know that it's happening in part because the two of us made a Discord chat, like and like that's just, it's super rewarding for us. And I think, like I said, that this is just the beginning. I think that there will be an event one day where we try to get the 60 people or as many as we can in one place and have that playlist playing in the background.
Oh, that would be so great. Do walk-up music.
People, as their song comes on, like maybe they get to roll all their failed hit rolls or some shit.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, there's so much potential for what this can be. And I mean, we were chatting earlier today about a website, and I genuinely want to make a website that just houses everything. So even people that aren't in the Discord can see like, oh, look at this awesome lore. We have, the amount of lore we have is unreal. Like you can scroll your mouse for days on the lore chat room on the Discord
it's
channel.
Wild.
So
wild.
It's so cool.
I mentioned this before, but I have a website I'm doing nothing with, and I pay for it every year for reasons. I'm willing to donate that to this cause. I'll get you learned. Do either of you have like a web admin, any sort of blah?
No.
Tech savvy.
I can use
it's a WordPress. It's a I use WordPress. It's
I have a failed WordPress blog. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I've got, but it's independently hosted, so it's you're not gonna run into some of the other issues. I just gotta change the tell me what the international Escalation League's website domain should be. I can switch my domain here, and then we'll get
WWE AOS 19.
WWE.
We can't put the year.
Automatically populate the WWE.
WWE AOS.
Extra search
yeah, we do WWE AOS. Yeah.
That can't be a thing, right?
I'm sure it's not taken.
I feel
Someone
like
in
we-
chat, try it. Type that in, see if it's a thing.
Yeah, or it's like white. When I was going, so real quick rant aside, rabbit hole here.
I feel like we can come up with a better website name.
I'm old, older than I seem. So the internet wasn't ubiquitous when I was going to school.
I had
and,
glass pop bottles growing up.
Yeah, wow, Canadian. No, so
Yeah.
we had a, like a computer class, right? To teach us how to use computers in school. And at the time, www.whitehouse.com was a porn site because Bill Clinton was in office, and we were doing all of our research papers on that, and everyone in universally in the class kept bringing up whitehouse.com because it was thought when you were young that you just typed what you wanted.com. Google didn't exist yet. Good times. Anyway, so WWE.
Shouts to Ash Jeeves.
Shout outs to Ask Jeeves.
Good.
Yeah, Alta Vista, yo.
Worldwide escalation can't be a web page already, right? Why don't we just make it the real thing?
Oh yeah, all the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, worldwide escalation. Yeah, all right. I gotta call my host I just send.
Call him up, man.
You gotta
Hey,
call
man,
him up.
Hey, person.
Is he a super host?
This is Mephisto. You know me from having a website for 11 years I've never used.
11.
It's been a while. Yeah, we'll switch the domain. I'll scrub it, and you guys can figure out what theme you want. We'll go with the theme. Maybe someone can help us with some art. We'll get some art and some banner stuff. We'll
That'd
get
be
it going.
amazing. I don't know.
That way, just so that there's just so that there's a place to deposit all of this stuff in
Escalation world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Frank is just killing it.
Frank.
Yeah.
Escalation world. Oh boy. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get that going. I finally get to be a human again now that it's no longer October and I'm not killing myself to make content. And this is a cause I really believe in. I don't feel any onus is on me per se, but I feel like I can keep giving y'all a platform because I really believe in it. I think it's really great for the community. It's the community kind of putting its money where its mouth is too. We're this great community that's supposed to be supportive. You guys are actually going the extra mile to do that, and I really respect it. And I think that's a lot about. Despite Brice's 2 hours of just panning people for their Cities of Sigmar hobby, just shaming
When
them.
did I do that?
On the Cities of Sigmar episode with you.
Oh,
and
I
Chris.
said if you use great swords as executioners or vice versa, your game. And if you disagree with that, at me. That's what the kids say, right? Convert that shit. Put a little bit of effort in if you're gonna be a cheese ball. God.
Yeah.
I'll defend that stance all day.
I'm gonna back that up.
I love that.
Listen,
I love that fire. Thank you.
I'm gonna back that up.
I gotta be a little bit of an instigator every now and then. So yeah, I cut off your elevator pitch just a little bit there. What else would you say about Escalation League? I guess I'll do my question now. If I'm listening to RantCast next week, that'll be about a month and a half into Escalation League, and you've had goals where build your 500 points, or what was it? General and narrative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is month one. Yep.
Month one.
General narrative and come up with a theme song.
Come up with a theme song. Okay, cool.
That was added today.
But
so
now-
that's month,
Added
that's month 2.
That's month two.
That's a month 2 goal. Month 2 goal.
Yeah.
And that's a now that's a month 2 goal. But I'm listening to RantCast 2 months down the line. Everyone's way ahead of me. Oh my god, I shouldn't even bother getting in with these guys because everyone's so far ahead of me. What would you say to that person?